My little pony, my little pony.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bronyville. This is Bronyville episode number 114, recorded on July 13th, 2013. I am your host, Apple Cider. Hi all, how you doing?
Howdy.
Oh, hey
Hi.
Sandy.
Hello.
Wow, you guys are all jumping in real quick today.
Buongiorno.
I know, boy.
Yeah.
Hi Sandy.
Hey,
How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
You had a surgery.
I did.
How was that? Did you have fun?
Sure. I had a magical morphine button and made everything better.
I haven't had one of those. What is it like?
Well,
Joy.
pretty nice.
Just sit there and just be like, I want to feel good for a moment.
Yeah, I tell you what though, I used an entire syringe of morphine on like day one, and then I didn't hit it afterwards. But oh man, it's been a very interesting week for me.
So
And
explain
I've
it.
missed so much.
I know there was a lot that happened. So just explain how, since we have this time right now, and before we introduce our guests, just a real quick thing of how everything went.
Well, when it went well, went to the hospital like 8:30 in the morning on Tuesday, got prepped. They, did all the preoperative stuff. Then they carted my butt over to the surgical theater. I took 3 breaths of whatever that magical gas they give you is, and woke up 2 hours later.
With less of your body.
Well, okay, it was about an hour. Okay. I've kind of lost track of time, dear.
But
Seriously, I really have kind of lost track of time.
But you emerged less of a man.
Only slightly.
Only slightly.
I had what is called a sleeve gastrectomy. It's a weight loss surgery for really obese people. And I'm a big dude. You see me. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to be less of a big dude. And this is a very big permanent step towards that goal. Basically, the end result is that it reduces the size of your stomach by 75 to 80%. But it doesn't limit what you can eat later on.
What's left looks like a sleeve. That's the name.
What's left looks like a sleeve, thus the name. Thank you, dear.
Good to make sure that you have the ever correcting.
Yeah, you have Starry, I got him.
Yep. Who are our guests this week? Because we have a plethora, and we've made
we've got
them be
some
quiet.
Great guests this week. We have Zero Velocity,
Money for
Kefka
nothing and your
Floyd.
chicks for free.
got Kefka Floyd,
Hello.
Glittering Pony,
Hey guys.
and Tech Feck.
Hello.
So
We've
we've
got a whole broad spectrum of folks today.
Yep, so we've got Equestria Daily repping, Derpy Hooves News, The Round Stable, and Glittering for Nightmare Nights Dallas, and Equestria LA.
Yes, indeed.
Hooray.
We've got some top-notch folks here today.
If only we brought them here for a reason or other that some sort of large event happened or did
man.
not happen this week.
I wouldn't know. I was in the hospital.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wait. No. What was funny is that I had to basically lay at an angle. I couldn't use a laptop, but I had my phone, I had a power cord, and I had wireless internet. Praise Celestia.
Mm-hmm. And you're just sitting there going like, oh, this looks like this is escalating quickly.
And let me tell you, on morphine, everything is funny.
Makes the world beautiful.
So yes,
It really does.
we have all of you here, and thank you all for joining in. So we could go ahead and talk about, in case you don't know, we do have a fire status, and we may actually switch back and do the news the news before the big event, so that way we could, so that we're not talking about the what has happened this week forever. But yeah, before we start off, we need to go ahead and cover the two very important questions that, if they are not answered, completely bring a wreck to this show. And unfortunately, everyone's being a silly filly this week. So, all right, Serial, what is this?
We gotta move these refrigerators.
What does that even mean?
Money for nothing and your chicks for free.
In your favorite episode?
We gotta move these color TVs.
Oh boy,
Podcasts for nothing and our checks for free.
pretty much. Kefka, what? What's your what? Why are you? This is not
Eureka, Mike.
your favorite episode is Pacific Rim. Thank you.
Darn tootin'.
Now
It was in theaters yesterday. It's brilliant, and if you love Guillermo del Toro, if you love giant robots with rocket punches, if you like giant aliens tearing things up, if you like Charlie from It's Always Sunny, you should go and see this movie. Like, stop watching the show, ignore us, go watch the movie. If you haven't seen it yet.
I think
I
that,
really wanted to go see that, but I won't be able to for at least a week.
I think to be honest, I think that's good advice in most cases with this show. Is just stop listening and then just go find something better to do with your time. It's okay. I don't mind.
You just download it later,
Yeah, I mean it's always there. Oh, geez. Doing jumping jacks upstairs in my apartment. Glittering. We don't have yours down, but favorite character, favorite episode?
Nice.
Oh, pony, right?
I don't know. It's not really specific, actually.
Not specific? Oh, geez.
It could be Pony, I guess, if that's what you want to have your favorites be. Everyone else seems to be taking this for the to the extent that it could be anything. So
Fine. Jerry Spice and Spice World.
all right.
Nice.
I'll fill out the thing if you send it my way. The Google Doc.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah, you do that. I'll add this in.
I'll add you to the doc.
Spice World and
Glittering,
Tech.
so.
What is this?
Crown Royal Dice Bag.
Really?
Yes.
And what's the episode?
16 and Pony.
Okay.
Oh man, that episode was so strange.
Don't even know what half these things are. All right, so we have this cast of fools with us this week. We have tons to talk about. As said, probably should go ahead and do the news before topic time because we're going to be not only talking about the convention that was to be and will never be, but we're also going to play a game this week. I'm actually going to conscript you all to play a game of So Now You Need to Run a Convention. So this shall be
I'm so
fun.
excited.
Okay.
But first, we needed to go ahead and talk about our sponsors. I'll cover this while Sandy's taking care of Tech's or Glittering's page. And our sponsors, We Love Fine, the producers of excellent quality My Little Pony and just general fan merchandise. As always, you can go over and use Bronyville 10 to get 10% off your purchase. They are now introducing PvP tees. So they have those out there listed on the front page, classic tees and all. So you can get your Joss Whedon is my master now shirt, killing newspapers with webcomics,
And boxer shorts and tube tops that are pony.
Yeah, you can get a Miku body sleeve shirt now, so you can be all Animu.
Yeah, or you can have Rainbow Dash boxers so that when you pull off your pants, it's Rainbow Dash's face.
Yeah.
Oh my.
There's so many bad places that could go.
I'm not lying. I have the panties.
No, it's in my head. It's in my head.
You got to learn to expel that as soon as... Listen, I have not listened to anything that Serial has said for years now, all right? Just for this
I'm
reason.
pretty sure the Geneva Convention counts that as torture, man.
Oh man.
The only reason he has me on is to derail his show.
Pretty much. And
I
remember...
have input coming from the background. Just wait.
It's not good. It's not good input.
Yes, his voice is a killing word.
You have your own story over there this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
at least it wasn't Twilight's face, so you don't have to reenact the droopy horn incident.
Oh no. And also just to remember, there still is the Catbug plush. I don't know what Sandy was talking about, but I'm ignoring it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Catbug plush. Tons of great merchandise. As always, We Love Fine at WeLoveFine.com. 10% off of your purchase with a Baronieville 10. And Sandy, who's this convention?
Nightmare Night Stylus.
Oh, what a joke.
It's a pony con. Those guys, working hard and doing their stuff right and having a charity and everything else. We are revving up and adding stuff all the time. we can also happily announce that we have added the Fantastic Gentleman full papers to our guest list.
Oh my god, I can finally meet this guy.
Yeah, I need to update the website, but I've kind of been in the hospital for a little bit, so
No excuses.
Make Bob do it.
And
I could.
And by indirectly, now our friend and now Serial Velocity will be attending as well, since he says he gets to meet the guy.
Yeah, well, we'll have Serial and Spaz and a couple of cool folks coming in. We have representatives from Derpy Who's News and Equestria Daily and FOB Equestria and Celestia Radio and Ponyville Live, and well, hell, we might even have one of the podcasters has a show on EFN. Because media parody.
I know.
Media parody.
Beef. Let everyone cover everything. It's being friendly.
I would show up, but you scheduled it against something local, so I can't go.
Meanies.
I'm sorry.
Well.
So, yeah, check us out, nightmarenights.net. Registration is live. We are also working on expanding the Dealer's Den, so if you're an artist, keep an eye on our Twitter account, because we are going to be shifting from 27 tables to, I think, 39 or 40. So we'll be adding a double handful of extra tables for people, because after Fiesta Equestria, we found out there was a good bit of demand.
Excellent. That'll be good. Okay,
so
check it out.
That'll be fun. Check it out.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to, as said, we're moving topic time to its second venue, so we're going to put that behind news. See what I did there?
Ouch.
Ouch.
All right.
I just want you guys to know that laughing hurts.
You're going to go ahead and start hitting that morphine button.
I don't have any more. I just took my hydrocodone.
All right. Well, all right. So we're going to go ahead and do news right now. Let's go ahead and start off. Sandy, word is you are a fan of the fighty games.
I am.
There's Evo going right now. You're actually neglecting your video gaming duty to be on this show at this time.
It's okay. It's Marvel. It's you only see the really cool stuff towards the end.
Oh, okay. And
it's going like all day today anyway, so I'll be fine.
All right, so you can watch the video punchies later.
Oh yeah.
So, but in a similar vein to that, pony punchy things, or not as pony punchy things.
Not as pony, but hoofed critter fighting games. Yes, Apple Cow and all that. Main 6, they're not dead, which is great. So they released an update to their website, which is about the first thing they've done in a good while. And they describe some of the work they've been doing on their characters and their hitboxes and the various things that they have been working. They've actually been working with the Skullgirls people and Lab Zero and Mike Z, working with the Z engine and making the game engine work for their style of characters. So that's really exciting.
I'm looking at the page now. That's certainly not Applejack, but
no, but she's probably using the same moveset.
Likely, yeah.
It's like they had the
Same
movesets.
Oh! I'm sickened by you, Serial.
That was bad, and you should feel bad. A girl cow. Yes. She herds other non-sentient cows. It's the Goofy conundrum all again. Why does Goofy have a dog? He's a dog.
It's a good question.
Why does Applejack keep cows locked up? Oh wait, those are sheep.
And pigs.
Yep. But this is actually
How do
interesting.
you milk a cow with hooves? Don't think about it.
No.
The answer is don't think about it too hard.
Good. So yeah, it's looking at this. I've never actually seen like what a hitbox actually looks like. This is interesting. Just the innards.
Shockingly enough, it's a box.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
it's a set of boxes. Like this box is green, that one's green. So I guess that means like, hey, if I get hit here, that's bad for me. But then there's a red box, which means that if you get hit by that, it hurts the other person. And there's a blue box in the middle, which I guess is where they just store French fries or something.
It's the invincible frame.
But okay.
Basically, there's not a way for that portion of the model to be hit usually. So, or maybe it's how it reacts differently. I don't know.
So an invincible frame. I've never heard of that. That's interesting.
Yep. That's why, well, if you watch Marvel, certain I'm not going to get into it. But fighting games, woo!
Fighting games, woo. All right, so yeah, Main 6 not dead under whatever game it actually is at this point. Is it still going to be called Main 6? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But it's still in progress, which is heartening.
I'd be interested to see a little bit more of the designs that they're saying. Let's see. GameSpot published their Fighting Game Symposium 2013, and their lead developer has a few words on the current state of the fighting game genre. Their thoughts on it. All right, so they have some other stuff that they're doing, but 'tis a work in progress, they say. It is not dead.
What's great is that the Lab Zero guys have licensed out their engine to several other small projects and are basically leading the way for a 2D fighting renaissance in America. It's pretty cool stuff.
Isn't this like Renaissance number 3?
Gotta keep moving, gotta keep evolving, otherwise you go stagnant and die.
It used to be Street Fighter 2, then it came back with the Street Fighter coming back.
There's Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2,
oh, no.
Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact,
Sandy,
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
We can stop this at any
There's
point.
There's like 3 versions of Street Fighter 4.
We really should stop this. This is getting crazy.
Okay. Let's go on to the next bit of news.
Sure.
Because our friends at Galacon have done some good stuff.
What do we got?
All right. So Galacon has sold out.
Oh.
For the year. They sold their last ticket actually like a couple weeks ago, which is really exciting because they're good folks, and I'm glad to see them succeeding at their adventure. They've got all sorts of neat events. They've got their gala evening coming on. People get to dress up and do a grand galloping gala. They have music from Acoustic Brony, DJ performances by H Mage, and a chance to dress up, mingle, and dance. The gala is not any additional money.
No, so it's just there.
No additional cost. Venue maps and the timetable are on their site. A con with a floor plan? What is this madness?
Woo!
They have a timetable. What is this?
It's organized. I'm afraid.
Oh, not only that, they have the full convention guide as a PDF.
Oh, that's nice.
It's like they're doing it right.
If only the only other thing they could do that could make it really awesome is if they included their own app.
That would be cool.
Cider, you're really quiet.
I'm sorry, I'm really quiet. How about now?
So
Not better
not
at all.
only that, they're sold out. The Bizam and Plus ticket holders will be able to check in on Friday afternoon and fetch their goodie bags. Check-in for regular tickets will start on Saturday at 8 a.m. local time. And that's 2 hours before the venue opens. No tickets are sold at the door, so they're kind of like BronyCon last year. At this point, they're also announcing that there's members of this organization called the Pony Free Press who are going to be providing convention coverage.
Oh, no.
Containing interviews with our guests of honor. Our main events will be streamed by Ponyville Live. Recording of all the panels will be available on YouTube after the convention.
I've heard dangerous things about those people.
A streaming group that gets all the panels. What is this sorcery? So that's really exciting. Because we want to help get a lot of content out of that con.
And happy for Galacon, and as said, happy for our friends over there at Ponyville Live for doing all the streaming over there. If you as said, we had them on last week. If you have not seen their Fiesta Equestria stuff, it's good. It's really good. So go check that out. That is over at Ponyville Live. You can Google it. I believe it's ponyvillelive.com. You can trust
they've got their cosplay contest this year, their art gallery, and there's a whole bunch of cool stuff. And they have their charity auction because why not? Charity auctions are great.
They are. All right, let's go ahead and move this. We got comic news in 2 forms, and I'm going to move this news up.
Yep. So Pony Comics, the IDW Pony Comics Nightmarity number 8 was the top seller for IDW yet again.
Take that, Doctor Who.
It's everything. It's like DC, Marvel, a couple Image things, a couple Dark Horse things, and down there at number 66, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, number 8, IDW. 33,000 copies, outselling things like several of the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and Avengers Assemble. So, yeah, they are doing actually really good. IDW's other things that they have. What's the next thing on the list? I need to look.
Well, they have Star Trek. They have Doctor Who.
Yeah, but okay. The Doctor Who Prisoners of Time, is that really the next? I'm just trying to.
Transformers. Timo brought that up. That's probably a good seller.
Okay, so Pony and then Pony Micro Series are the top 2 sellers, followed by X-Files Season 10.
Wow, X-Files.
And then the TMNT ongoing.
Huh. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I find that surprising. Transformers isn't higher on that list.
Kind of sad, though, that my local comic shop dropped Ghostbusters because I was like the only person buying it. I was liking that one. But yeah, My Little Pony continues to be a huge seller for IDW, being both number 1 and number 2. And it didn't hurt that the Pinkie Pie Micro was really good.
Yeah, Pinkie Pie was great. Speaking of it is a micro. How about we move on to the next thing that was a micro?
All right.
Apple Pony. All right. Applejack time. Time to bring this up. I admit that I actually didn't find out that this was released until like 15 minutes before the show, so I skimmed it pretty hard.
Let me see.
But Sasquatch. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Sexy woman.
No, it's not that. It's not that city in Peru called Sacsayhuaman. No, but it is Apple Pony, and there is a big squash creature. Have you read it, Sandy? Have any of you actually read it?
I didn't even know it was released this week.
Mine just arrived like 2 seconds before the show started.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell me I'm the only one here who's read it.
All right. Well, Dan, you're gonna have to be the man you're gonna have to be our reviewer man on this one.
Okay. It was great. It was very good. The issue was written by the series editor Bobby Curnow. It's his first issue that he's written, and it was drawn by Brenda Hickey and colored by the series regular Heather Breckel and lettered by Neil Uyatake. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Overall, I won't give it away, but I thought it was pretty good. I'd say it's up there with the Pinkie Pie one. It's, for me personally, it's not quite in the same level as Rarity, of course, because she's the best horse.
That's right.
But still, it has a very good story. It's very well written. I really like Hickey's artwork, and it looks like she might be coming back in the future for more things. So, if you like Applejack, even if you don't like Applejack, you should definitely go buy it and support our comic artists. Woo.
Yeah, there's some good facial expressions. I just found this one of AJ that I particularly like. Blurk. It's some pretty good faces there. She also makes the a very Dash face. That's pretty good. Yeah, it looks good. I kind of did see the ending. The ending felt like something that it was kind of I could have seen coming. And but they also do put a song in here, so expect that somebody's going to actually make a song.
Two comics in a row we've had a song.
That's pretty. I guess they kind of figure at this point. It's like, if we put it in there, somebody's going to make it happen for real.
Pretty much.
And the version of the Pinkie Pie song that I've heard is really good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's straight from the comic.
I need to definitely go check that. I need to hear that because that sounds pretty good. There is some Nightmare Fuel in here. For instance, Applejack's really good camouflage, blending in almost entirely into the tree.
Oh my god,
that's some Nightmare Fuel.
Hour of the Earth Pony.
Yeah, that's she became the tree. Fluttershy, eat your heart out.
Fluttershy.
So I'm also looking forward to the next. They've released the covers information for numbers 11 and 12 of the mainline comic, and 11's copy is where it's basically the Cadence and Shining Armor meeting when they're younger or in school, and Shining Armor is a nerd. He has a monster manual and a Crown Royal dice bag.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's going to be great.
That does seem like that's going to be pretty good.
I think that like the next 4 comics are going to just be amazing. I have no reason to think they wouldn't be, but you've got the 2-part 22 short stories of Ponyville with Big Mac and all the background ponies. And
if you're at SDCC, if you're not a mere mortal like us, and you actually get to go to SDCC, they have an exclusive there next week with like an 8-page backup story.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get it.
I need to find somebody who can get me one of them.
Isn't there a
vinyl scratch pones?
Isn't there a Sunset Shimmer backup story that's coming too?
That is the Sunset Shimmer backup story in the SDCC exclusive.
I'm looking forward to that. I probably have a good feeling of where that's going to go. It's going to be the Star Wars episode 1 through 3 fall of, she's just going to be a Padawan and then find the ways to the dark side, and then there's younglings and Oh, cool. I brought my own show to a screeching halt. Awesome.
Yay!
I was going to make fun of Star Wars, but that's not
but that's too easy.
It's too easy.
Let's see what else we got. Hey, we got some plush.
Yeah, we got merch and merch. I love merch. The Aurora brand plushes that they first showed off at the Nuremberg Toy Fair earlier this year have had some additional information released. They're saying they're mid-year product releases. They have they look really cute, and they have also little bags which are like the pony's face and have a smaller version of the plush inside. So there's some information. There's 4 plush styles for each of the 6 characters. They have quite a few different. They have their sculpted hair in different fabrics. Stand-alone plush are going to be in 2 sizes, 6.5 inches and 10 inches, at $7 and $20. While the line that includes the 2-piece fancy pal style plush pony with personalized magic carrier at $17. So these are super cute. They look like they're higher quality than the what's the other brand that we talked about last week?
Funrise might be.
Funrise, yeah. My brain just went like dead for a moment. Yeah, Funrise. They look better than
different
Funrise.
Style. They're different. You might remember these because if the last time I was on the show was when we did the Toy Fair thing, and we had a bunch of pictures and we got to handle these, and they are very high quality in terms of they're huggable and they have nice hair. Some people don't like the noodle hair on the Funrise ones, and other people don't like the doll hair on the Build-A-Bear ones. So if you just want show-looking hair, these are the ones for you.
I still can't find a Rainbow Dash Build-A-Bear. Those things are sold out everywhere. I think I basically have to order it online if I ever want to get one.
That was like their top-selling thing, and it's basically well, not ever, but in terms of licensed stuff. And so that now they're doing all sorts of licensed stuff now. I saw they're doing like Monsters University. So you can get a Sully for your kid, which doesn't make much sense because you're supposed to be scared.
Yeah. I haven't yet to see that. I love the original though. So
I don't know how I'm looking at these. I'm not sure how it would feel to have a bag larger than me of my own face. that I could get in, that I could go inside. That seems oddly like a giant Eddie Murphy head, kind of surreal.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Darker, but these plushies are kind of ugly.
Well, the Rainbow Dash's hair looks kind of weird. It almost looks like Caden's
what's with their
hair.
head?
They're meant to be.
They have more horsey looking heads.
They're meant to be like gift shop, hospital, flower store.
Oh man!
Ponies, not like have on a shelf at Walmart. So Funrise plushies are just super easy to get a hold of because like Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, everyone has Funrise plushies, but Funrise plushies also have the cloth strip hair and they're super cheap. But
that's great for younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
But for the crazy folks that really, really dig ponies like us, then we want to show quality.
Fourth dimension.
Yeah, fourth dimension is the thing that's made for us. And good luck getting a hold of that.
Yeah, that's my concern with these, where the closer that we get to it, the harder it becomes to actually acquire one. You know, we're never... I actually think, just looking at these Aurora ones, I'm like, I'm not sure I would find a store, unless I particularly went out of my way to try and get one, that would have one of these. You know, I've gotten the little, like, the felt hair crazy ones because they're in Target, but, you know, finding one of these, it'd kind of be like, oh, I need to go to San Francisco to get a plush animal. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like most of the stores, like the Hallmark stores and whatever else, Carlton Cards, they don't really exist around here anymore. So
yeah, they're in the mall once in a while.
Yeah, but I don't think any of the malls near me, not even like the high-end one in West Plano, has it. So, you know, it's like good luck finding it.
Yeah, that'd be nice to see more, especially. And what was the really, really high-end dolls that are out
there?
Fourth Dimension. I'm gonna have to look at those. I forget if I've really seen much of those.
Oh, they're amazing. I got to see one, and they're definitely spot on.
I'll have to pull that up. Okay.
They keep getting pushed back though.
Yeah, I pre-ordered, and it was supposed to ship in June, and here we are. You know.
Yeah.
Mid July.
Wait a second. Fourth Dimension's doing Lackadaisy too. Immediate love.
Oh, neat. Are they doing...
I was going to go poke them at Comic-Con next week and be like, hey, what's going on with the plushies?
Where's my pony? You better have my pony.
I threw money at you. Where's my pony?
But yeah, I did the Toy Wiz pre-order of all the main 6 Aurora ones back in like January when they were first available. So I'm only paying $15 or $14 each for them as opposed to $20.
All right.
So,
well, let's see
cool.
What's the other merch we got here, Sandy Face.
The Funko vinyls, which are currently like my favorite piece of merch they're putting out, have released or is available on the website. The Lyra and Pinkie Pie,
2 very fine pones.
Yes,
and they have rarity.
Molded. Hey, they're working on her. I mean,
I need my fashion horse.
Yes.
They're releasing a background pony and a main 6 pony at any given time, and we've seen the other ones, the Bon Bon and Spitfire and Vinyl Scratch.
So following that trend, they would probably release a rarity and an Applejack.
That would probably be a smart idea. Wait. Was that
a things where it's like you high five the screen.
Yeah.
That would you guys a minute.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, yeah, they'll probably release. Oh, you background, gotcha. Cereal's mean. We get in so much trouble with that cereal.
That was subtle.
It was subtle.
Yeah, but they're available on the Hot Topic website. It's one of those things, though, where it's like, I don't like the clear one, so I can't order online because I don't want to get the wrong version of Lyra.
Excuse me, please return this.
If you get a clear one, you can probably just sell it to someone, pay a ton of money for it, then you can buy a normal one.
True.
Just
free money.
Just eBay it.
But then you could have the horrible situation of constantly getting clear ones and making tons of money.
Oh man, that would be
no bad thing.
I'm never satisfied. Yet I keep making cash. What has my life become?
I don't know. Are they really that popular? Because the Fluttershy one's kind of not that attractive.
To eBay, let's see.
Well, we've got the Fluttershy one. I've got Derp Face and Flutterface. We've got those sitting over there. I don't have a Dash. I don't have a Hooves. They haven't released a Twilight, have they?
Not yet. They're probably going to do it last as a Alicorn and upset.
So, wow, you can use the coupon code that was listed on Equestria Daily, and you get them for like $9 a piece.
Nice.
That's not bad.
Now that I have money, I should actually buy some.
Man, the Steam sale, my wallet.
Okay, I might have bought Saints Row 3 and have been playing
I have spent
I got home yesterday.
I spent $100 on Steam sale stuff.
I'm not even going on Steam because I don't want to buy anything.
Let's see what they got right now.
I'm sorry. I've also been spending money on buying like like, oh hey, I want to play this game with friends. I'm just buy it for them and go there. You're gonna play this with me.
Age of Empires
These are
2
every
HD, 10
year, though.
bucks. Borderlands
Their
2,
summer
10
sale.
bucks.
Is always during Comic-Con, like right before, during, or after.
Yeah. It's like you can get Borderlands 2 and all the DLC and all the classes for like $25 right now. It's
Yeah,
great.
I just got all of those. Got Just Cause 2.
Oh, that game's amazing.
Fallout New Vegas.
Just
Shut up!
Cause
Don't
2
talk
is-
prices, because then I'll be like, oh, I can buy that.
If Bionic Commando is on
is-
sale, you should all buy Bionic Commando.
Fez is $5.
I picked up
FTL
Fez.
is $250. I think I put like 50 hours into FTL.
I
Walking
picked
Dead
up
is
Fez.
$625.
The version that has the soundtrack to Fez is like $250 more.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that.
I picked up Hotline Miami.
Oh man, so much
What
fun.
is Fez? Is it good?
Yeah, it's like a 2-dimensional game that's actually 3D. So it's like you're a 2D little guy, but you rotate the entire world around you. So there's tons of puzzles and crazy stuff like that. It's one of those ridiculously long indie titles. It's
Hello,
supposed to be
everyone, and
really
welcome to Steamville. I'm your
good.
host.
Yes, so we're going to talk about our
get on the
Lord
Steam
and
train.
Savior, Gabe Newell.
Our Lord and Master, Gabe Newell. Praise be
Yep.
upon him. All right, and finally, hey, Sandy, you know how we always are kind of like, oh, that sounds like a neat game, but
Janet's
yeah,
gonna
come
die.
on, it's never going to release. That's silly. Pony games don't ever get released.
Which is generally true. Which is
Until today.
sad.
Oh! What do you mean?
My Little Karaoke is released.
Yay!
Now, of course, this is being recorded on Saturday, and who knows where it'll be by the end of it. But guess what? Get the torrent, and I'll be seeing that stuff all week, I promise. So it's My Little Karaoke. We had them on a couple weeks ago, one week when I wasn't here, right?
Believe so, yes.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't here a week, so I don't know what's going on that week. And they've got their stuff. And I'm looking forward to totally setting this up for Nightmare Nights and having people sing pony songs because
I think
Why
a 2-drink
not?
minimum would be a good idea.
I think that'll be a good idea. Yes.
Sure, if we're working with 40s, that sounds great.
We're not going to have what's the two-fisted challenge? We're not going to tape 40s to people's hands and make them drink them. That wouldn't be nice.
Why not?
I think that'll be great. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Please drink responsibly, kiddos.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Oh,
Guests of honor
on
and judge
drugs.
it.
I also picked up Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Just wanted to mention
Oh, that game is so good.
Blood Dragon is amazing.
I want to play that so badly.
There's so much good stuff right now. Gabe, this weekend has been amazing, let me tell you.
Thanks, Gabe Newell.
Thanks, Gabe.
Where's
Darksiders
Half-Life
2 's-
3, you bastard?
Darksiders 2 is $10. That was supposed to be pretty good.
That's pretty
But
good.
And Just Cause 2, you can get that and all the DLC for like $5.
I know.
No, it's $6.
I've got it again, though.
And that actually includes the first game.
Ugh.
And you will never finish.
Oh, I played I have that game on the 360 and I put in like 40 hours easy. And all the mods that people have done to it for PC, multiplayer and all that nonsense. Oh man.
All
looking
right.
forward
It's a shame
to-
that
hold on.
multiplayer is just fun.
Segue incoming. Ready for this? You know
Okay.
it also will not be finished.
Uh-oh.
Sweet Apple Acres Con.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
All
I
right.
think
Time to move into the topic. Hot burns. Sorry. All right, so topic time. There's a reason also why I did not ask Sandy the fire status as we normally do during the news. Because the fire status is...
thermonuclear.
Wow, that's a little warm. What happened?
Lots of things happened before Sweet Apple Acres caught fire and died. If you recall, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not. It showed up on Derpy Who's News, and I think they were the only guys that ran it because, well, it was really this massive glowing red flag where 3 days or 4 days before before the deadline on their venue, they were short by 204 room nights.
Yeah.
Which is 2/3 of Nightmare Night's entire room block.
So to take a step back for those out there, Sweet Apple Acres Con was we can use the past tense at this point, a convention in Nashville, Tennessee to take place this weekend, the 13th and the 14th. And it didn't happen. What happened from what eventually can be called the cause of death, or whatever would have caused it, would have been that the venue that they were going to be at decided 2 days before that they were going to cancel. The specifics of why they decided to cancel are not entirely apparent. But some additional information has come out since then that gives a little bit greater clarity to the potential reasons why that would have happened. So let's we've been hearing rumblings and little bits and pieces of Sweet Apple Acres Con for a while, and all of this kind of came to a head. What was it? Probably about Wednesday.
Yeah, it was Wednesday because I was coherent that day and looking at Skype and stuff caught fire.
Right. So there was information that had come out previously the night before of some of the arrangements at Sweet Apple Acres Con. Specifically, information... Well, two things happened. On Tuesday night, there was a change of guard. So there was the then interim con chair, who was Silverlight Ironhoof, I believe is the right one, was the interim chair, got voted out, and the original chair that had been removed 2 weeks before, Foosh, was put back in. And in the process of this, some people moved and left. Things were not looking good for the con financially earlier to begin with. And then that's when some documents, including finances and contracts, were made public. And then that led to the next day, of which some social, I wouldn't say social justice, that's probably not the right term to say, but well, the basis is the group over at Grand Canterlot Cavalcade, which is our kind of belligerent younger sister cast.
Our mutant stepchild that we keep in the basement.
Pretty much. Decided that this was definitely big enough that, like, hey, this warrants to bring up. So they decided, all right, we're going to go ahead and go public with this information because there are people that are going to this convention that need to know about this because things are looking bad. The con is very much in debt. VAs are planning to go to the convention. And then subsequently the next day, the convention got its venue revoked.
The hotel was like, no.
Right.
So basically, the con itself, we're not privy to the inner workings of their organization and what they were doing. They were aiming to do a mid-scale con within Nashville, Tennessee, with a metro population of around 1.5 million people. I don't think that's right. And there were lots of mistakes made in the marketing of this. There's lots of mistakes that cost goodwill by the staff. And basically, they failed to get the word out and budgeted as if they had.
Yeah. So one of the things, we've got some documents that because they were made public, we have the ability to do this, and you can see this in the show notes over at BronyvillePodcast.com. But one of the things that did actually become released, and granted, the information inside of here is the budget for Sweet Apple Acres Con, approximately 4 days before the convention was supposed to go live, and you know, you get to see, it's actually kind of interesting in some ways to see how expensive a convention can be, but also like what kind of things actually cost. So, you know, looking at this, you get to actually see how much the art, the security, the programming, AV, vendor space, registration, how much particular guests actually cost. The VP Relations to get Lee Takar, Michael Dangerfield, the Kreber family to actually come to a convention. So you actually get to see some of the inner workings behind here. And, you know, the Kreber, you know, since these are public, the Kreber family costs a total of, what was that, $3,000 to get to come to a convention?
Well, it depends. That's the travel. Because there's also the appearance fees. So this is getting into the sausage, as we've referred to it, how the sausage is made of cons. This kind of budget is fairly itemized. It doesn't have everything on it. It ought to. You know, Diamond Eyes Dallas has a budget that is similarly arrayed, though it's broken down a bit further. Yeah, you got to rent equipment. That's expensive. That was $1,800. You know,
Yeah.
Piano for Michelle Kreber, $150. That's $2,000 right there. Programming? Well, the programming doesn't have anything entered there because, well, they didn't get a hotel. Security, having radios, that's very important, actually. Diamond Eyes Dallas has the full complement of the drama radios. I think we've got something on the order of 40 of them or so. So all of our staff that need radios will have radios.
Yeah, so
Banners, $60, backdrops, their art budget was $1,200, which not bad except this con was aiming really low, and you know, spending $663 on a convention comic is silly.
no, it does have. I believe that it's just dependent on how well you market. You know,
Quite true.
I think that Buck does a great job with their little Tumblr comic that they have going.
You know,
And
they're Britannia, yeah. Ask Britannia. Their vendor space, they collected $2,500 from them. Well, that's good. But the thing is, their nitty gritty green entry here that's cash in, they only sold $13,000 worth of badges on an operating budget of $30,000.
Yes, they had to take out
$38,800 because there's the credit total in there on the bottom too. So there's $30,000 on a small business loan and $8,800 on a credit card.
So
those guys have financially ruined themselves.
So if we take a moment to look at this, so let's say I'm just going to do really rough estimate here. In total, that's $20,000 roughly in debt, correct? Roughly, like really rough number. I'm just doing this.
Okay, sure.
If we're doing that and we divide that by saying a badge is $45, I don't actually know what their badge price is. They would need to ensure that they had 444 people attending in addition to what is on here to actually break even, and that's not even counting the fact that there are things that, as you stated, we're missing, like the cost of the venue.
Yeah.
You know, so the ultimately what we're saying here is that this is kind of, I was making the joke of, you know, Unicon 2 Sweet Apple Boogaloo, because this is a second.
Well, Unicon was much more in debt.
Yes.
Yes.
But this was another case where a convention, I think, overwent its reach and, you know, put itself into overcommitted too much for what their actual for what they could actually reasonably get at a convention. I mean, Nashville, Tennessee. I lived in the South. Not exactly one of those go-to locations unless you're a major country fan. Atlanta, yes. Birmingham, Alabama, not much so. So,
I was glad to see though that they did have event insurance listed as an expenditure, because you have to have that for larger events.
Well, you can't
in
sign
case
a
your
hotel
con catches
contract
fire.
without it.
Yeah.
So, if
and-
the hotel didn't require it, they may not have even gotten it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the chat right now. There's actually two good things to say out there. Desert Nocturne brings up the hotel broke the contract from what they've heard. Actually, there were two contracts. There was actually a separate venue 2 months ago that actually they had their venue removed because of I believe what it was is just that the contract that was signed was actually, so I wouldn't say toxic, but it was something that they could not actually reach. It sounded like that the room block was too large. Actually,
They overestimated how many rooms they were going to do for the room block. And
Yeah.
basically, they could not fill that room block.
right.
And-
That's rough.
And the basics, just for those out there, the basics for a room block is, what does it do?
A room block, as we've described in the past, a room block is the number of rooms that you guarantee that the hotel will have filled over the course of your event. A room night, they're generally given, in our case, we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where we need X number of rooms each night. That's different each night. And in our case, because we have a really nice contract, it helps if you have a lawyer do it for you. Our Thursday nights count for Friday and into the general pool, and our Sunday nights count into our Sunday. So we have this not very large number of room nights that need to be filled at any given time over the weekend that fulfill our side of the contract with the hotel, and the hotel, in turn, gives us a good deal. We have to hit 80% of that total number, and if we do, we don't owe them any further money. We pay our venue rental fee. They get their room nights. Everybody's happy, shiny, and goes as planned.
Yes, that's the really good thing about a room block is that if you hit a certain threshold, the hotel then says, you just made us a ton of money. All that was free. The problem is if you don't make it, what happens, Sandy?
You get charged the going rate. If you've ever been to a hotel and looked at the little sign on the back of the door that explains the cost of a room, that's what you're charged. Because, our room block at Nightmare Night Style and the room block for Fiesta 2014, Free Fiesta 2014, is about $100 a night. Those rooms don't cost $100 a night normally. They're like $150 at least.
And that would come out of the convention's budget if they cannot actually take care of those rooms.
Yeah. If you miss your room block, you owe the difference to 80% of the total at full value. Pretty much immediately afterwards.
Yeah. So what eventually happened is this first hotel, they realized that they overcommitted.
Big time.
Yeah. So within 2 months of it, they had to flee, break that contract. I believe they still had to pay some to break that contract.
Well, it says that they paid them $4,000.
Okay.
Whether or not they did or not, probably. They also had apparently paid $9,000 to Holiday Inn Vanderbilt, which they may or may not have gotten back.
Right. So they then went to the Holiday Inn Vanderbilt, who they were able to sign a contract for. Sounded like it was a little bit better. Or the thought is, now here's the part that we do not have a confirmation for, and if anybody has heard any additional information, I would appreciate it. It sounded like, from some of the information that I had, that they had a tentative contract, but nothing was actually signed yet. Now, I don't know if that was because there was a payment that needed to come before the convention that actually solidified it. In Glittering and Sandy, in your cases, is there any like straight down payment in your contracts that you had to do at all?
So it depends, actually. on how your contract reads. Our first year, we did actually have a down payment, a deposit that we had to put in. And that was because we were also functioning through convention space and not hotel. Second year, we didn't have to, but as the months went on, we were blocked in for certain costs that we absolutely had to pay. Because the hotel said, well, 6 months out, you promise us this many rooms. If we haven't sold this many rooms, we're assuming that we're now going to lose money on these rooms that we're holding for you that we can't sell. And that's that's standard practice in a tier 3 city next to Disneyland. So, because they can fill them up, no problem. So, at the end of the day, we didn't meet our entire room block. But at the same time, we had also budgeted X number of dollars for function space in the event that we couldn't meet our room nights. So it wasn't that big of a deal for us at all.
So you actually had the planning behind you, and just in the, you had enough of a buffer saved there of just like, okay, if something goes wrong, or if we do have to purchase space, then we've got enough that we can move that around.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, that looks like, so you had venue 1, you had venue 2, which, as said, uncertain if the second venue decided that they broke it because, there's multiple things. If there was a down payment that needed to be made, if for whatever reason somebody, in hearing this, went and evangelized exactly what was going on to the hotel, and the hotel went, oh, this doesn't look good. There's that particular piece of the puzzle is not clear at this time. And their venue was closed. There was a period of about a day where, and this was on Thursday, where they were running around trying to see if they could find a venue within 24 hours, and eventually that did not happen.
Yeah. Now, I do have to say, the guys, and this is something that Featherpop's been bringing up because he's in the chat here.
Yes.
Something that the fandom, local fans, did do. They have done their best to try and rescue the people that decided to fly out there. Because they didn't sell a ton of tickets, but that's still a lot of people that may have flown out to Nashville, have a hotel for a couple nights, and they don't get their return flights for a couple more days. Mm-hmm. What do you do then? You can watch the high school football camp that's going on at Vanderbilt University across the street from the hotel that weekend.
We
could go to the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Take it over.
That.
Play Discord.
Hotels do talk to each other if they're within the same group.
Well, hotels talk to each other, period.
Yes. Now, going back to the venue thing, one of the reasons that Nightmare Nights Dallas has a really good deal is that because we are a side project of the Dallas Regional Anthropomorphic Meeting Association, aka DRAMA, a 501c7 nonprofit that was registered in 2008. We have done 5 events with them already, so that we're a known quantity. And as such, they were like, sweet, come on. Yeah, we'll give you a heck of a deal. And if you work with us with some of the guests that are going to be that weekend, we'll give you this super awesome space in exchange for this other space, and bada boom. So it's one of those things. When you're a known quantity, like Drama is, yes, I love saying that. We know Drama. But when you're an organization that's been around and done business with these people for a number of years, and they're well accustomed at this particular hotel for hosting fandom conventions, because they run like 6 or 7 aside from ours the year. So, there's a big difference between being an unknown group of people that don't have any experience, logistical support, inventory, backing, 6 figures in the bank. If you're not a group like that, you're going to have a bit of a rough time.
Yep.
But that's why Nightmare Nights Dallas has the full backing of Drama.
It's true. You do get a better deal when you have a reputation, or if you know someone who knows what they're doing when they walk in to sign your hotel deal.
Mm-hmm. There is. When I was running a convention a while back, I was a chairman for a convention in Atlanta for 3 years. And the first year we did the con, I was a very public face, and I actually put about $1,500 into the convention just to make sure that it lived, because I had the disposable income at the time, and I cared about actually making it work. And after the con, there was actually a large number of people like, "Hey man, you should have been the chairman of the convention. You really should have." And really, I just went, I would have been a terrible chairman, because I'm a very outgoing and personable guy, but at least at that time, and I still need to work on this, but the person that was the chairman was a businessman. And he knew the correct points to where there was a negotiation, and he knew the right points to say, "Nope, nah, we're not going to pay that. Get up from the table and wait until they make a better offer." That I think that's something that in many cases is A, hard for a lot of people, and B, I think it's something that this fandom doesn't get yet. That yes, we're all happy and yay, and we want to be friends, but when making conventions, there is business, and business is all, especially with the people that you're dealing with that are not in the fandom. It's about money. It's about who's getting paid.
Stuff doesn't run on rainbows and unicorn farts.
Unfortunately.
Lies. All lies.
Lies and slander, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, when I look at what happened here at Sweet Apple Acres Con, and I want to state this straight ahead on this, and this applies to Unicon, I believe, I want to believe, is that nobody goes out to fail. No one ever takes a situation on and says, "All right, guys, let's screw this up as hard as we can." They in all seriousness believed that what they were going to do worked. And looking over this, what they wanted to do was have a big show with, the Kreber family, Eurobeat Odyssey, Michael Dangerfield, Lee Takar, the Everfree Network, Max Giliardi. They wanted to have everyone there. They wanted to have this big gathering. Unfortunately, having a big gathering means you spend $20,000 to get them there.
Yep.
And if you cannot make $20,000, not only is it bad because, well, it falls apart, we already know some people are really mad. Don't go look at Sherry Fowler's Twitter feed, who is Lee's agent, if you don't want to see somebody mad at bronies.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
And it's really unfortunate because she's one of the agents who's had her clients just have really bad goes of it. I believe Fiesta Equestria is the only con that her clients have attended that they got paid, because previously they had been at Unicon and they were also supposed to be at Sweet Apple Acres Con this weekend. Mm-hmm. And they didn't get paid either one of those.
I also think Cutie Mark Con had defaulted on some of them as well.
Yeah.
And
they were at last year's Everfree Northwest, though, and that went okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to say this year, but I think that...
this year, yeah.
The Cutie Mark Con guys, they were doing a Kickstarter, right? And it's called Keeping the Dream Alive.
Yeah.
They rented $20,000.
Yeah.
They got $500.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Candlelight Gardens?
No. Candlelight Gardens, their Kickstarter failed too, but they didn't start. They died on the launch pad. This is the Nexus Gaming Alliance, the guys that ran Cutie Mark Con, trying to keep themselves afloat, because they, in addition to Cutie Mark Con, they also ran something called Animation and Gaming Ohio that is probably in some financial jeopardy because they need $20,000 and they're getting $500 minus whatever Indiegogo takes for flexible funding campaigns, which I think is 11%.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Kickstarter and Indiegogo is a good idea if you're going to start a con, because that's really going to show you if there's an interest or if you can support the size that you're looking at for a con. I mean, EQLA did it the first year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's actually something that I wanted to bring up, is that maybe oft forgotten, but when you started EQLA, you did and this is something that Sherry said. Sherry was stating, "Hey guys, why don't you find a sci-fi con? Tell and pay for the show staff to come to it, and then that way it's on the back of a convention we know is not going to crash." Mm-hmm. And that's what you did. What was the first year you did it? Piggybacked on top of which con?
We actually had event space at AM2 Con, because they had Andrea Libman and Tara Strong going, and they were like, "Look, you guys can bring in bronies, and that's what's hot right now. So why don't we give you a ton of floor space, and you guys can do what you want with it and promote?" So that's what we did. We totally promoted ourselves, and we also, we ran. In March of that year, we did a March marathon with, I think, 150 people. And then we did AM2 Con. And then a couple months later, we did our Grand Galloping Gala, which was like something like 200 plus people. So we took baby steps before we jumped into EQLA. And our original mindset was 500 people. And then the demand got so great that we jumped to 1,000. And we still exceeded that number the first year. But the point is that we aimed low. And ended up exceeding our expectations in the end.
But you were also during the kind of the bleeding edge too. You were kind of during the very beginning before a lot of other conventions faded in.
That's true. Yeah, we had contacted Hasbro before there were 1 million people contacting, and we had gotten our approval and all that. And we got lucky too because of where we are. I mean, you really have to look and say, are there big conventions in my area? And if they're not, and not just anime conventions, but sci-fi, all of them, are they sustainable? And then decide if it's worth having a convention there. Because it would be great if everyone could have a pony convention in their city so they didn't have to travel, but that's just not the reality of it.
Yes, Sandy.
Yeah. Well, and actually, Timo brings up in the chat, there's so many conventions, and I think we're going to talk about this towards the end of this segment, about what number of conventions are actually left. But take Dallas, for example. Dallas has QuakeCon, A-Con, Anime Fest. All three of those events have at least 10 to 15,000 people, with A-Con being closer to 25. Not only that, there's horror cons and Renaissance festivals and everything else. There's 6.5 million people living in this area. And there's a lot of cons and a lot of culture, of a convention culture just here. Not to mention the cons that are in Houston, like Comic-Palooza, or the cons in Austin, or the cons in San Antonio. If you add up the Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, you have 17.5 million people. If I can get 1/1000th of those people to show up at my con, I'm going to be super happy.
Oh, yeah.
So that area also helps because you have all those areas are within reasonable driving distance for the most part.
Oh yeah, I mean, I drove down
6 hours of each other.
I drove down to Fiesta Equestria. It was like 4 hours, and I had a table at Fiesta Equestria. I'm gonna have a table at Brony Fanfare. I'm gonna have a table at Anime Fest. I had flyers out the wazoo going out at A-Con, despite that misadventure.
Yep.
I have, it's marketing is actually one of the things that is super important. You have to step outside your comfort zone and go with as many people and as much exposure as you can get. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the failures of Sweet Apple Acres Con, is that they barely advertised anywhere outside of their region.
I had no clue they existed until I heard rumblings that they weren't existing anymore.
Which is shocking considering how many people they had. Like how many guests they had. They had several of the show's staff from Vancouver flying in.
Yeah, I found out about it at Everfree Northwest when Michelle Krieber mentioned that she was going. Like, I had no clue.
Well, I help run EQD, and I didn't know about it.
And that's the thing. The real unfortunate thing is that I saw comments when Sweet Apple Acres sent out their plea for help. They needed 51 people to stay Thursday through Monday, which is 4 room nights apiece, 204. They needed that much people or X amount of money And several people, I saw the comments, were like, what? I've never heard of this con.
I mean, they did send out announcements and stuff when they had guests, but I'm trying to remember exactly when we got the first one in the mail. But honestly, the reaction from every single one of them was they're doing a convention in Tennessee. And, you know, there's just...
well, not only that.
It's immediately after... It's between Everfree Northwest and BronyCon.
Yeah, that's another problem, too.
That's rough.
Because Fiesta Equestria, then Everfree Northwest / Anthrocon the same weekend, and then Sweet Apple Acres. Then
don't forget, TalkCon was 2 weekends before that.
And then 2 weekends before that was Cutie Mark Con.
Mm-hmm.
Which
My
also,
recommendation would be don't have a con during the summer. First year we were in November. This year we were in May. I mean, don't do it in the summer. Yeah, you're going to lose people that can come. But you're not going to be in the oversaturated market of, gee, what do I really want to go to? BronyCon or Everfree Northwest or Fiesta Equestria? Like,
people have to choose between BronyCon and Everfree because they're so close anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. And I had to go to Everfree.
The summer con clusterbuck, as it were.
Yeah. I mean, well, go ahead.
But I'm gonna pull up on Google Docs well, actually, do you want to go over the other contract first, and then we can talk about cons and size scales and whatnot?
Well, I will simply make this brief because there was two pieces to this particular event. Another one was a little bit more media based. It's drama. I won't subject you to a big host of drama. I will state that of the $20,000 in debt, one of those was to supply a particular media group travel and lodging. And I just find it odd that you pay $5,000 for a media group when other groups would actually come and do stuff for free. And
now admittedly,
we are biased.
Yes, we're biased, but also they said up to $3,000, and they're actual airfare for 5 people round trip was only $1,800. So
still, of
course the rooms, 3 rooms for 4 room nights apiece. That's where they get you, because that's another $2,600.
Right, and I would simply guess what, Sandy? I'm covering BronyCon.
Gasp!
Do you know what I am requesting from BronyCon?
$5.
Press passes. And that's it. I'm not asking to cover room. I'm not asking to cover travel. Why? Because, one, I'm going to the con because it's my vacation and I have fun doing this. It's not a job. You know, I like putting on these shows, oddly enough, because I really love doing them. So,
you know.
Don't be coy. You're in it for the yachts, aren't you?
I gotta go. I only put premium in it. It's expensive for the premium. But you know, I would never. I know how the shoestring budgets cons are on. And for me to believe that I'm important enough as the Kriebers and Lee and any of the other ones to deserve to be flown out and have my room covered, if a con offers that, if a con says we want to do that, I don't think I would ever say, well, okay, as long as you make sure in your budget that is okay, that is fine. To be honest, and let me just add one more thing. To be honest, I actually at one point, this was back in olden days before the Bronies, but I did actually get asked to be a guest of honor at a first year convention before, and it was in Australia. And they were like, we want to flow you. What? We want to fly you out here. We want to do all this stuff, and we want to do it for you.
You got to do it in an accent, or it's not real.
We won't do this for fly you out here. We want to.
That's the wrong continent. I don't
care.
Close enough.
They wanted me to fly me and my friends out there. There was 4 of us at the time to actually do the show, and I literally went like calculate airfare. You do realize that's like pretty much $3,500.
And you live in a pretty close area that's, not as long to there.
Well, I technically at that time I was living in Atlanta, but
so halfway around the planet.
Yeah, and I pretty much said, guys, listen, it's not a smart idea. Like, I would love nothing more than to come. That's too much money for you. I'd rather make sure that your convention continues to go than siphon the cash that is, I know, is going to be deathly valuable to you. So.
Well, and part of it too is, and this will be a touchy subject for you guys, but everyone demands live streaming. Cons in general don't live stream. This is a new fad for the Brony convention.
It was started by a very particular purple individual back at BronyCon January 2012. AC and I should have nipped that in the bud by telling her no, but we didn't know.
I think
all of the conventions that I've seen that offer live streaming, like the big ones, Comic-Con, BlizzCon, DragonCon, they also charge for you to watch. And, I feel like if you're going to ask people to pay $60, $70 for a convention, aren't you cheapening that a little bit by letting people watch for free? Aren't you kind of telling your attendees, well, we don't care? Well, yeah, but I mean, they're paying a lot of money, and then you're going to sit there and say, oh, but by the way, if you just stayed home, you could have seen all of this for free.
Yeah,
that's absolutely correct, but that's just the panels. I mean, you can live stream the panels and have special events and nightly things not.
But but for the uninitiated, the panels are it.
Yeah.
Like for a large people, they think the panels is the con. So if I see the panels, why should I go?
That's fair.
You miss like the talking to people. You miss the going and buy
the
stuff,
social meals, the room parties. There's a lot more to a con than just the panels, but yeah.
Right. But this is a community that doesn't know what conventions are about because they don't go to conventions. So their only exposure is a pony convention, and they expect to get live streamed. And I think live stream is not a good idea. No. But that's just me, and that's why we also didn't do it. And my entire board of directors agreed that live streaming was a bad idea because we're trying to follow a traditional convention plan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
go ahead, Sandy. I've got something.
And even for Nightmare Nights, we're following the Tech Stram rule, where if we don't sell out our particular threshold of tickets, we're not going to stream. We're still going to have Ponyville live. And they're still going to do videography of every panel that the panelist is comfortable allowing them to film at. Because, we're not going to force filming on somebody who isn't keen on it. And that's just going to be how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because we'll stream when we know that we're so far in the black that we're going to be cutting our charity a big check. Because after that, it's kind of a moot point. But everything's going to be recorded similar to how they're going to be handling Galacon.
I will give a slight defense to BronyCon Winter. Because there was no way in the world you were fitting one more body in that room.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that room was in the dead of winter and 1 billion degrees.
Yeah, and with the recording also of the panels, you do allow people that went to one panel over another to possibly see it. I mean, the recording in proper videography has a place.
Absolutely.
The people are comfortable with you filming them, and that's fine. And that's what we're going to do. But
recording's great. I think live stream is kind of where I'm like, yes, you can see it, but see it later. Don't see it while it's happening.
I do think it cheapens it. It cheapens those that actually paid good money to attend. Unless there was some way that the people in the stream, similar to what Blizzard does with BlizzCon, where you're not paying $250 to be there, you're paying $40 to watch it, but there's still some kickback that's being done on that.
Oh, sure. If I could make a way to monetize this and say, the funds are split 50-50, that people that couldn't make it could stream it, watch the con, and also get some money for our charity, that'd be great. But we don't have that in place, and we're not that big.
Hey, Sandy, hold up the show. I got a potty break real quick.
All right, well, we're going to go over the convention list, because this is another thing that people have been talking about, because every time we have one of these disasters occur, comes out of the woodwork, people that don't know what they're talking about go on about how, there's too many cons. Yes and no. Yes, because numerically there sure are a lot. There are conventions all over the country in various random places. There are conventions in small states, in big states, and everywhere in between. But I have to find the list of MLP conventions. It's maintained by Full Papers.
There was a nice list that the Daily Oat compiled. I've linked it in the chat.
Okay, and there's the one that's maintained by Full Paper. So remaining in this year, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
A lot.
17 events worldwide.
17?
Hang on. That includes Midwest Brony Fest, which is in Kansas City, Kansas. BronyCon and GalaCon, which are big. Buck, which is pretty big. BronyCan, it's in Canada, so they can have lots of guests because they just drive down the street. So we have one in Germany, one in Canada, a couple in the UK. So not all these are in the US. Okay, so let's take a look at what these cons are actually aiming to do. Of the cons that are left in the year, the ones in the US that actually have show guests coming, there's like 5. Okay, Midwest Brony Fest has one show guest, Sam Vincent. Okay, BronyCon and GalaCon, they've pulled guests from each other. That whole thing is a kerfluffle. Good luck, both of them, but at least GalaCon sold out. BuckCon has some voice actors, but they're in the UK. It doesn't really pull money from cons in the US. BronyCan, Western Edge of Canada, Richmond, British Columbia, Canada, right down the street from DHX. They can run their stuff lean. UK PonyCon, again in the UK. So Brony Fanfare, that's the next con that has show guests in the US that's not BronyCon.
Wait a minute. Brony Fanfare is still going?
Brony Fanfare had a pretty good first year. And we've been working with Peter Jiang there. He's smartened up quite a bit, and we're going to have a table with them, and he'll have a table at us.
Okay. It was kind of smallish, when we were there, but...
Yeah. They planned for 200 people and ended up with 900 tickets sold.
What?
Because
that many?
Because they were smart, and they're doing what we're doing. They advertised at every con they could get their hands on. So there's something to be said about advertising. But guest-wise, they have, as I wait for the page to load, Sam Vincent. Sam is getting himself some travel. Because I think, Sam Vincent, it's the same photo even, at Midwest Brony Fest in Kansas City, and then Brony Fanfare in Austin. Sacramento Brony Expo is a 2-day event in Sacramento, California, that doesn't actually have any show guests as far as I can tell. There's this guy named Apple Cider. I don't know about that.
Supposedly some Dusty Cat dude will be there too. Whatever.
Oh man, well that's going to get wild. But they don't have show guests. They're a con, but they're not a show guest con. They're a small scale event, on a college campus.
Exactly.
And so then we have these other ones, these newly announced ones. Crystal Fair, St. Louis.
Yeah, looking at that one.
Their website.
Basic.
1996 GeoCities.
Yeah, but the benefit of this particular thing is that just by looking at this, they're not aiming to be huge, because
of course,
so far
they have Pixel Kitties, who's awesome, we love her, and they have the Star Swirl Academy VN that's being produced, so you can have your Moe human horse girls.
So yeah,
and a visual novel. So I mean, they're a small con that's aiming small. DerpyCon South. DerpyCon South is a con that has Annalie Heed. We've talked to her before. Mm-hmm. She's the voice of Swedish Spitfire, and everybody likes her to say apple pie.
Yeah, I will.
They also have a cute OC.
I will admit, and this is from rumblings that we've heard, DerpyCon South is on the watch list.
Yes, DerpyCon South is a potential issue.
Right, because we don't know how that's happening. They are sending Annalie Heed, who is coming from Europe.
Yes.
So that is a little bit of a concern, and then just some of the marketing. There hasn't been a lot of marketing for DerpyCon South, and it isn't in New Orleans is a big city, but not a huge city. There's just some concerns on that one.
Yeah, they are doing a Kickstarter right now. They have 32 days left, and they're an eighth of the way to their goal. So if you're in that part of the country and want to see a con happen in your region, well, and New Orleans, go ahead and give it a shot.
I was going to ask what kind of south you were talking about.
Now, yeah, south is actually more Alabama and Mississippi. Texas is sort of mid-south.
We're souther than them, but they're the south. And we're Texas.
They are really south.
Yeah. Them southern boys.
Ooh.
So the next con that's up is AppaloosaCon. It's listed as 18th October to 20th October 2013, but their website has not been updated for a good while, I don't think.
AppaloosaCon is the one in Phoenix?
Yes. They are the one in Phoenix who...
They postponed once before, correct?
Yes, they postponed post-Las Pegasus because of the fallout.
Right.
Their guest list consists of... As I'm waiting for their page to load.
Silly Philly, Slorlac, and Peter New, from what this doc says.
Right.
Well, I don't... On their website, it doesn't say anything other than... due to the convention change from April to October, the guest list will be changing. We'll update the guest as soon as we have additional information. They have some fandom folks, which is fine. But they're not going to be a big con. They're not, going to be paying thousands of dollars to fly these people out.
Yeah.
Bernie Days is in Paris, France. I hear they're doing well. They're working with Galacon. More power to them.
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately...
They're flying M.A. Larson out there as well to Bernie Days.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There's that PonyCon AU who we're supposed to talk to today. We'll talk to him next week. They've got Peter New flying out to Australia.
Yeah, I mean, we are starting to get towards the end of the year where there's a lot of where stuff is starting to be TBA and ultimately leading towards Nightmare Nights Dallas. It seems.
Yes, but I'm trying to get it into people's heads that not all cons are created equal, and not all cons have the same goal. To say that there are too many cons is numerically true. But the actual events themselves are not going to be much more than meetups, which is fine, because that's what a small con is like. Brony Fest, for all their foibles, was basically a large meetup. They did their thing. But like you have this Running of the Leaves con, they announced 3 months before their con is supposed to happen. And, it's very basic WordPress site. Haven't heard anything about it. We'll see what happens. But the odds are they're going to be just a small fandom con.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the...
again, fine.
That's one of the reasons I'm not entirely scared for, the Sac Brony Expo. They are very small. They're only charging $10 to attend. It's in Sacramento.
Yeah, and since it's on the campus, the people running it probably got a really good deal.
Yeah, they're students.
They're a student organization.
And then the important thing also to know is that that they get a really good deal when you when you do something at a campus. Though all the money goes back into the campus, so it's kind of one of these things where they want you to be successful. They want to give you this because ultimately they make all the cash.
I mean, and, God knows that universities need the money, but I think the problem, Sandy and Little Ribbon brought this up earlier, it's not that there's too many cons. It's that there's too many cons trying to be big.
Right.
Yes.
If Sac Brony had announced today that Tara Strong was going to appear, I would go hey guys, hi, how many do you think you're going to get? Because there is a saturation point. There is a limit to what the market is going to be able to sustain. That was ultimately the Unicon problem. The idea of, oh no, we don't have a lot of cash. Well, let's just strap more guests on here, and that will generate enough buzz to get people going. No.
Yeah, they certainly didn't have a marketing problem.
No, they were marketing pretty well. It was just simply the issue of let's just tack more people on here because we need more money. So the more
that's how it works, right?
Yeah,
you have more guests and you get more people.
You lay more chips. You may lay more chips on the table.
It's a gambling problem.
Put on black.
Well, and that's the thing, because when I was planning EQLA, the second year I was, people were telling me, oh, you should invite everyone. You could be as big as BronyCon. Just invite everyone, because the more you invite, the more they will come. Well, I'm smart enough to know that I can't listen to that advice. And, even if you're hearing, oh, well, you're going to offend so-and-so if you don't invite them, it's like, at the end of the day, you have to be a business person. And you can't be... Yeah, well...
You don't offend these guys. You pay them to come to your convention. I'm sure they like being there, but I'm pretty sure they like the money just a teensy-weensy bit more, because it's their job. This is how
Well-
they make money.
Look, not everyone can give good advice, and sometimes you have to listen to people give you advice and nod your head because they're going to give it to you whether you want it or not. And if I had listened to the people that were saying invite everyone, EQLA could have easily have been LPU all over again. But you have a good budget and you have a good team who knows your budget, and you don't go over it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
simple.
and the last three left on this list is DrawnCon, which our good friend Haybuck, who's going to be helping us at Nightmare Nights, is also working for, which is a Western animation convention, aims to be pretty small. They know their size and they're aiming for it.
Hey, Bucks,
Oh, I like that
Nightmare?
convention. People should go to DrawnCon.
Yeah, Haybuck is it's the week before us at Nightmare Nights. Trottawa, single day. It's actually builds a mini con within the Into You anime convention, so it doesn't even count.
Smart.
I think that's a
Smart,
great
but-
idea.
Oh, it's a great idea, but it's not a distinct convention. So again, we've been talking about, there's too many cons. Well, if you look at the list and classify them as by their scales and who exactly has show guests, not that many have show guests. And yeah, there's those guys at Nightmare Nights.
They're aiming for the
Whatever.
stars, aren't they?
They got loose cannons out the wazoo. Nightmare Nights has 3 voice actors:
I
Andrew
don't-
Libben, Brenda Critchlow, and Peter New.
I don't know. I'm gonna telegraph something someone else says, but I'm scared of I'm concerned about those Nightmare Nights Dallas guys.
We're very, very concerned.
Very, very concerned about those Nightmare Nights Dallas guys.
I'm on staff. You should be concerned.
Should I not worry my pretty little head?
Don't worry
No.
your pretty little head.
Okay, thank you.
They're good
not
people.
not only that, we also have some DHX folks. James
Which is
Wooten,
cool.
Jim Miller, Sabrina Ambergetti, Sibsy, and Mitch Larson.
So how are you going to not be Sweet Apple Acres Con?
That's pretty simple. We have a budget.
Hey,
We have our planning situated. We have a contract with our hotel that is extremely favorable to us because we have a 5-year relationship with the hotel. We have the full inventory backing, full access of everything that our organization has accrued over the past 5 years, actually 6 years technically, because we had a 14-month lead time on year 1. Hey, you can do that too.
I'm surprised more people don't. I mean,
Yeah, you
this
should,
is just
at
coming from
least
an
a year.
outsider here, but why do people give them time like 4 or 5 months for a whole convention?
No,
Furry
a year at least.
Fiesta year 1 had a 14-month lead time. We planned for 300 people and got near 600. And you know what? We've been growing at a steady 17% growth curve since. Last year,
Really, really, really good growth rate, by the way.
1,500 people and $13,000 for charity? Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, and we've accumulated audio equipment, audiovisual gear, stuff. So, on our end, we don't have that startup cost. We have the logistical contacts. We know who our printer is. We know who our, who we work with to do our shirts, who we work with to do our con books. So, who's going to do our layouts for us. We're an existing organization. We have everything in place. We have 6 figures in the bank because we're an organization that has been around that long. And not only that, our budget is not even half of what's in the bank. So we could pay for our event 2 times over if nobody showed up. Now, admittedly, my fellow board members would kill me, but it's a matter of there's too many cons that are starting up that don't have the right idea. And I don't want people to think, oh man, that Sandy guy, he's such a blowhard. He's boasting about all this nonsense. He thinks he knows so much. But I've been doing this for a while, and there's this big difference between a bunch of people that don't have an idea running with a budget, running with scissors like Sweet Apple Acres did, and a con organization that's been around and it's like, we've done a couple of events like this. Let's do a pony one. That sounds fun.
Well, when I heard your business plan for Nightmare Nights, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to work with these people because they have experience and they've got a good relationship with, the hotel that they're working with. And what I really, really liked was to hear that absolutely all of the proceeds are going towards charity. You're not going to take any of that money and turn around and put it in the bank and say, we're using this for next year.
Yeah, because we're not sure where the pony scene's going to be next year. But
Alicorn Con.
Alicorn Con, yes. You know,
Alicon.
We're not sure where the pony fandom's going to be in 2014, where the con scene's going to be. But what we want to do is we want to put on the best show we can and raise a ton of money for sick kids with cancer. And that's the point. You know, we, as an organization, as drama, we do charitable events.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pop in really quick and answer a question in the chat.
Sure.
Okay.
And
Sumbroni Jr. Not all cons are required to donate their profits to charity because of a couple things. You might not be a nonprofit organization. You might actually be a for-profit. You might be working with a charity cause that requires you to hold an event for fundraising as opposed to a sum of the whole. There's a couple reasons why you wouldn't have to give all your profits to charity.
Mm-hmm.
there's actually a fair number of for-profits in the pony fandom, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
LLCs.
yeah.
LLCs are for-profit entities.
It's easier
in
to
Texas,
get.
it's like $350, and that's the filing fee. You know,
I wasn't
so
aware that cons having to donate their money to charities was a superstition.
well, I mean,
It happens
I
more
thought
in
that was
other.
just kind of a nice thing to do.
Yeah, it happens more in other. To be honest, the convention wise, it happens more in other fandoms. Like the general charity, like the general, like just the streams and the Bronies for Good and the Brony Thank You funds, all those things. Those are generally things that exist outside of conventions. I know in the past conventions I've been in that there has been a much larger component of conventions being 501s, of being being non-profits, so that they generate a little bit of cash, but a larger chunk goes to an actual charity.
yeah, the way
And that helps with your nonprofit status as well. If you can show that you're donating to charity, as opposed to, hey, look, we just made $150,000 on top of all of our expenses. Let's, and I use air quotes, invest it back into the nonprofit company by paying people, which a lot of the bigger cons do, like Comic-Con and whatnot.
Well,
But
it's like here in Dallas, Phoenix Entertainment runs A-Con. They're a for-profit. They're a huge entity, and I think they do have some charitable stuff, but they're a for-profit entity, and they've been around 24 years.
right.
And within my organization, a convention in my in the furry fandom, a convention being not a nonprofit is practically unheard of. It just is not done.
It's
Yeah, there's not
considered
many out there.
it's considered almost rude. Like
Yeah.
the idea that you are going to make money off of it is,
No, because ultimately
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a fan-run event for fans, right? So it's supposed to be like a social club.
and it supports events that the fans would be supportive of, like a
Right.
big cat rescue in Bridgeport, Texas, where they take care of tigers and whatnot, where idiots have smuggled them into the country and loved them until they decided to eat the dog.
yeah. Oh no! Don't eat the
Yeah.
dog.
Kitties.
And someone in chat says it's more about serving the fandom they're part of than making money off them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, in the end, Naira Nights is going to be a fantastic event. Will there be a year two? We don't know. We'll see where we're at. But right now, our event is well situated. We have a budget well under $50,000. Our room nights are ahead of the curve.
So
Registrations, you should do that. And we have the ways that we've been running cons, and we're going to stick to it. I think that's what you can take away. It's like we've done this before. We're going to do it again, and then after Night Minds, we're going to keep doing events.
So, if you guys have any particular questions, by the way, in the chat, go ahead and bring them up. I know that some Brony has a good one. Does Hasbro get a cut? Nope.
Nope.
Hasbro gets no money. In fact, they don't really like to acknowledge the fact that we exist. We,
No, they work through third parties with us mostly.
the agents
It's
generally.
kind of you guys deal with those brony people. Sandy, I actually had a question. This isn't
Okay.
strictly related about for profit between furries and this. I mean, there is a huge difference, being that we're working with a licensed thing, and
That is
the furry
true.
fandom is not.
Now, Now, admittedly, there still are guest costs associated with like our fiesta, because we have to fly people in and whatnot. We don't have per diems, and we occasionally have per diems. We try not to do that because most people are more than happy to come to a con, be guest of honor for free, as long as you cover their travel and whatnot. But
guests at furry conventions are usually almost an afterthought.
Yeah, when we are dealing as the pony fandom, we are dealing with people that have appearance fees and travel costs and per diems. That does make us a little bit closer on the side to, say, sci-fi fantasy cons like Dragon Con, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still run events like this as a nonprofit. I think actually there's a couple of the larger anime ones which are still nonprofits. I think it's Otakon. I know that there's couple.
Quite a few actually, I think.
Where it's like Otakon stuff. I mean, I'm sure that there are a number of large anime conventions that are nonprofits, and they have guests and they have charities.
I think Anime Expo is nonprofit.
Anime Fest is here in Dallas.
Sandy.
Yes.
I'm about to lose cannon.
Oh, man.
Drone Bug asked a really good question.
Okay.
Aren't there easier ways of making money than running a con?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you're going to be going and doing something like a convention full time, well, you're kind of nuts.
If you're doing anything fandom and trying to make it full time, you're kind of nuts.
I mean,
yes.
If you decide to quit your job,
what does that remind us of?
I don't know. If you decide to quit your job and drop out of school to do something fandom related full time, where are you going to be when that fandom goes away? You do it because you have a passion to do it, not because you think you're going to get rich.
Right, because there were people that were asking, well, at the end of the day, you have to run it like a business. True, but that doesn't mean that you're making money. Ask me. Anytime you see me, ask me how much I made at Equestria LA, and I will tell you 0. I will tell you I'm in the negative because I was the con chair. I paid for my hotel room. I paid for my travel expense up there. If things needed to get done and we just needed to get them done, it came straight out of my personal account. Like, really, honestly, you don't do this because you want to make money.
Yeah.
And you certainly don't do it because you want to get some kind of I don't know. It's just, it's a thankless job anyway. And it's way too much work for a normal person.
Yeah.
But AC and I have put money into it. And like Glittering said, when it comes to stuff for Nightmare Nights, it's my credit card's getting whipped out there because I need something soon.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
do I need some flyers printed? Well, there's my card.
Yeah.
I need this. There's my card.
I mean, what you fans donate to us is pretty much just a help on top of what usually I pour back into the system. When I'm going up to BronyCan, I fully intend that I'm going to be spending upwards of $500 to $700 to get there. Between my flight, within, the hotel room, making sure the equipment's right, getting stuff that needs to be set up, I'm going to essentially lose money. But I don't care because this is what I do and I love doing it.
I guess I should mention that.
Yeah.
Most of our expenses that we bring in from the ads, not all of it goes to the website. Most of it's flying people out to cons and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what that fund is for. Because,
and at the end of the day, it's a hobby, right? It's not a job.
Yeah.
It's a hobby.
Yeah.
So you're willing to put your personal money in. And if you can make money doing it to cover your hobby, not because, I need to make rent quick, let's slap up a Google ad, but because, we need to pay for badges, so let's make sure we've made an additional $2,000, then it makes sense to get a little bit of money
I am
somewhere.
I am in no way trying to make this a job. If I could Kevin Smith this up, I might. I'm not sure I would want it to become a job because making it a job makes it something different.
Well, it makes it something you have to do instead of what you want to do.
Go ahead, Geff.
Well, on the subject of money, since we're on like cons and stuff, and Karen is probably familiar with this too, just because I know her background and where she came from. The only people at a con who could reasonably expect to, quote, make money, unquote, are people like me who go primarily because we have artist tables.
Right.
And even then, I'm certainly not quitting my day job. I can't even, like, as an artist and photographer, I can't even quit my day job to be a full-time photographer anymore, just because
it's super hard to be an independent artist and make a living. I think the only person that I know of personally is JJ.
Yeah, but that's because he was doing it before Pony.
Exactly.
Yeah, JJ has been doing stuff for a very long time. I mean, I've been a professional graphic designer for 13 years. I've been a professional photographer for several more years before, since today, and at least it's a sensitive subject, at least with the vendor tables, because it is the one area where clearly people are going. I mean, when I go to a con, for me, it is a thing about, well, if I can't make money, if I can't cover stuff, I don't go. And it's kind of funny because before Ponies, I used to do cons for like web comics and stuff like that. We'd go and we'd have a table, and they'd mostly be like promotional things, like we'd bring books or prints, and we're like, okay, we want to. It's something that we do for advertising. We want people to read our comic. We want people to buy our books. We wanted to do that, and I sort of got out of that scene, and now I'm back into it again with Ponies. And a lot of it is that people don't quite understand both the risk and the other stuff that goes into, that stuff is work, when you're doing those tables all weekend.
Yeah, because if you're going to print 200 books and you don't know for 100% certain you're going to sell them, why show up?
Exactly.
Right.
And at least with PonyCons, at least I think, I'm unfortunately, I've kind of lost my train of thought. It's just more that for me personally, it's a thing where if you got to look at a con and say, okay, how many people are coming? What do I have? And, I've seen people like, teenagers who are saying, well, I want to go to a con and I want to try to see if I can make money. I'm like, well, are you sure you can really do that? I mean, I'm not exactly a name, I'm not JJ or Pixel, but people have seen my stuff and they know and say, oh, this is the guy who did this or the guy who did that. And I have a little bit of that, but not a lot. And it's a case where, look at the past year at the cons we've had over the while. This year I've been to, I went to Las Pegasus Unicon.
How was that?
Yeah, everybody here was there, I'm pretty sure, except for
Sandy.
Effect. And no,
you didn't
Sandy,
miss
that's
anything.
true.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was working my other con that weekend, and I got to see it explode from my vantage point.
I was busting
But
ass that weekend.
a lot of people took a bath on that con, and for me, if it wasn't for $500 that I won on a slot machine on the second pull, I would have came home with the red.
Nice.
And it was difficult, and people think you can just go to these things. Oh, I'm going to have a table. I'm going to go make money. Well, that's not quite how it works. And before you know it, you can wind up with a whole bunch of stuff that you don't know what to do with. You said, well, crap, I spent this amount of money to fly out to the con. I spent this amount of money to print my stuff. I spent this amount of money for the hotel. And then there's the other red tape you got to jump through. You have to deal with business regulations for your locales. If the state you're going to does sales tax, a lot of the states are clamping down on conventions and other stuff these days to make sure that the vendors are there collect sales tax. And you have to make sure you're on top of that. And so there's a lot that goes into that to make sure you have a good show. And when I was at TrotCon a couple weeks ago, and at least for me, TrotCon was a show that I did I didn't lose money. I did all right on, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And there's the people who were across from me, I think were they were running one of these, I'll just save them the offense or whatever of me naming them, of one of these upcoming things. And they said, well, we're interested in having you come to our show and have a table. I'm like, well, how many people do you expect to have? What's your plans and everything like that? And I mean, I'm sure the show is going to be good, but I live in Massachusetts, and there haven't been very many cons local to me. I've had to fly out to pretty much every single one, and when it costs me at a minimum of $600, maybe $700 to fly and lodge and eat to go to one of these things, and not completely disregarding anything else that, you know, the cost of me having to say print new stuff or anything else. You say, well, if you're only going to have 300-400 people, I don't really see that working out.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could easily ruin yourself by saying, oh, I'm going to do all this and go to these. And I have a feeling that when the con scene finally bursts, it's going to be because the vendors say, well, we can't make any money anymore. And that huge chunk, the vendor rooms often account for a huge chunk of operating costs for these cons. And if they lose those people, that's going to be a big problem for them.
Yeah.
And Unicon was certainly a nail, at least one in that coffin, because nobody sold anything at that con. You walk into the artist's room.
At which con? I'm sorry.
Unicon. You walk into that
Unicon,
vendor hall, and people were just they sold nothing. I sat at AJ's table for an hour.
Down this wall.
To save the convention, people were just straight up donating stuff to try and get people out of there.
Was your idea, AC, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
Still, thank you.
AC is the forgotten child.
Yeah.
I think AC did really well taking control of that situation.
The lost savior of Unicon.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that was the problem, too, with Unicon in particular was that they either, A, lied, or B, were not
grossly
forthcoming about the number of people. Because I mean, it could have turned out a lot worse for me, at least for Unicon. I didn't really make a lot of new stuff, so I didn't really spend. I was selling existing stuff that I had made. But there were some people who, you know, the Unicon people said, oh, we're going to have X amount of people. And you think it's going to, I mean, a show like, you know, for Karen, EQLA, both in November and May, for me, worked out great. They were both great shows. Everybody there was up front. The vendor hall experience was great. At Unicon, you said, oh, we're going to have this many people. How many people should I want to say maybe like somewhere between 500 to maybe 700 people.
Does it actually showed up? Or
I have no idea. Nobody's been able to get any
smaller than EQLA 1, and we were like 1,200 unique. So
it was small.
It felt much smaller than that. I was very busy at EQLA 1. You know, this was much smaller than that.
And
Sandy was. Sorry.
Well, and I'll add this fact for Unicon is that we also beforehand with Unicon, and this is granted this was the first time that this actually happened, but we received like some information like, hey, things are looking kind of crazy, and I know that Bob, our usual legal counsel, approached people to be like, hey, how are things, and was told to promptly back off.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I offered help and they denied it. They were just like, no, we don't need your help.
And then you wound up having to save the day anyway.
Yeah. Well,
well, there was a reason that there's a bunch of con chairs at the con.
I also
interesting that.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, it's interesting that you guys at least got wind of it because we sure as hell didn't. I was talking with Sandy not you, Sandy. Sandy with an I.
Sandy with an I.
Sandy with an I. I'll just say Unicon chair. She never said anything was wrong or had any indication, but I kept getting these emails like, "Oh, we could just sell a few more tickets. That'd be just great." You know, put up this little press release. You know, maybe I should have gotten the red flag after a few of those, but
I don't know.
I didn't realize they were in debt. All I had realized was that they were unorganized and probably needed help getting their event put together day of.
Really, the biggest red flag should have been the Brony Bucks, to be honest.
I still have my Brony Bucks.
I want one so bad.
Well, here's the thing. Number one, I'm not going to sell them because, I only have two. And from now on, at every show on my little display at my artist table, I have a little thing that says "No Unicon bits."
I will pay for the Discord $23 note.
You know, I feel like if I put that in a charity auction, they would really pick up a lot of money. But
I agree.
It's a reminder
from the burning of Unicon.
It's a reminder to say that, hey, these things might go belly up, and you always got to make sure you do your due diligence and make sure that doesn't.
Yeah, if I had known about their budget crisis, I might have made a few phone calls to a few select agents.
Yeah.
In warning. Absolutely.
Tara is not coming to any more cons, it seems, just because all that.
And that's the problem with things that could have the possibility of going belly up, is that you run the risk of screwing up for everybody.
Oh yeah, every failure makes it hard for the next con down the road. You know, and it makes everybody wary of these events when you don't want that. You want people to be excited to come and meet these people and, you know, see, like in our case, see how the show's made from the start to the finish in a way.
Like, again, that's why we're kind of wary about posting new conventions in our roundups. It's like we get this brand new one that we've never heard of and we don't know anything about them. It's like, I don't know if we're going to post you guys. And then they get mad. And, you know.
Well, and it's like we had a policy for cons and stuff. We said, well, we're not really going to cover meetups. So say let's say if your convention has the following things: if you have show talent, if you have at least say, 400 or 500 people that are playing to show up, and if you have some kind of organization behind you or something like that to show some kind of legal thing of protection, it acted as a pretty good filter. But the problem is that everybody started doing that.
Right, that's a great idea in principle, but it just causes drama. But maybe that's worth it for that kind of.
The thing
security.
is that it's unless you have a solid plan, you need, like, in the case of too many cons, what, like you said earlier, what people are really concerned about is too many cons that don't have any idea what they're doing. In Sandy's case, like doing Nightmare Nights is brilliant because they checked all the boxes. They're doing everything with actual legal counsel. They're working together with a group that has been doing stuff in their area for a very long time, and they've got finances that are, by all accounts, very good. So it's different than when you say, people, what they saw last year, said, oh, BronyCon did this, oh, Everfree did this, and they had so much demand and blah, 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 and everything they thought, well, surely I can do this too. Nothing can go wrong.
And I too can hang out with Andrea Libman. Yay!
That just bewilders me that people think they can do that first year. I mean, why bother advertising if you're not 100% sure?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess coming from... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Karen, you go ahead.
And
I was just going to say, coming from the other side.
I've never run a con, so maybe I'm just talking out my butt here. But
no, but I mean, coming from the other side, I mean, even EQLA, and this is no offense to you directly, Serial, or to EQD in general. It's just a statement that we stressed every time we had to get a press report out to EQD because we didn't know if it was going to end up in a roundup, if it was going to get its own post. And at the end of the day, if we're going to spend money to get big names out, we need big announcements. So, we went every avenue we could to the point where we were, emailing Calpain, like, hey, can you put this up? Because we think if we send it to info, it'll just get shafted with everyone else. And I understand. It's just that there are so many cons, meetups, what have you, that try to get in on this, and they have whatever bluffing that they're doing. Sometimes it's a little hard. Oh, I totally understand because you guys have a lot of content that you're putting up.
I could only imagine
that was stressful for us. So we had to take marketing into our own hands. Mm-hmm. We had to be serious, and that's what some of these other cons need to do. They need to be more serious about their marketing.
Yeah, I could foresee. I mean, I can only guess, and I bet Serial could. I will probably say that this happens. Nice.
Sorry.
It's 3.
Well, good way to
It's a side effect of the surgery.
Professional it up there, Sandy.
Keep it pro.
But that there's probably a whole bunch of people that come and say, we have a convention, and then you look at it like, this is a meetup group that's going to do an event for 70 people.
Right, with an Angel Fire website or a GeoCities website.
Yeah, could we please get a post on the front page of Equestria Daily?
That's because everybody wants a front page post. They want their own post, and they want it to be really big, and can't do that for everybody. Yeah. It's easy for the big cons. It
really has to be like an all or nothing kind of deal, doesn't it?
Like, okay, it's easy for BronyCon and Everfree. It's easy for the huge cons. It's a definite no for things we've never heard of and we think are just, it's iffy for things in the middle. You got to pick and choose. And that's where the convention roundups came from. It's very hard to find that middle ground to make everybody happy, and that's kind of all we want to do.
I think for stuff like guests of honor announcements, and like those are like the really big things that are really important. That's stuff that 99% of the time shouldn't be put in a roundup. But it's like I can go through a week where I look at my inbox and I'm like, why are people? It's like there's stuff for all these cons saying, oh, we're doing this contest, we're doing this, we're doing that. It's like, well, that's nice, but I've got in certain cons, which definitely not Karen and will not be named, at one point we're sending things like every other day, and I'm like, guys, can't you give me a break here?
Yeah.
Yeah, hey,
Totally.
we're doing music at our con. Isn't that cool? Like, yeah, and every other con.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Like I said, it's iffy and it's really hard.
yeah.
Right. Make your posts count so that when you do post them, they matter. Like if we announced Andrea Libman is coming, then we also plug the hotel, plug this, plug that. Like it wasn't just let's announce Andrea Libman and forget everything else. It's let's announce Andrea Libman and hope to God people read the whole rest of the thing.
Exactly.
And people usually do if they're interested. And
Yeah.
it's another thing is people sometimes get annoyed if we post too many cons as well. There's the other flip
Well,
side.
yeah,
It's like, stop posting all these conventions. I can't go. It's,
Yeah.
Aw.
You can't worry for it.
Average
Exactly.
EQD reader. Oh, I'm so disappointed.
don't even-
I actually
Options
felt really
anymore.
bad when I would look at the comments every time we would post
Don't.
something on EQD.
Don't.
People would be like,
Don't.
I can't go, so I'll just catch it on the live stream. I'm all, oh, that's so sad.
No,
There's
no,
no
you
live
won't.
stream.
the comments.
Yeah.
I do.
Worse than YouTube.
I think
Oh, I know.
we are running a little long, and we may save a little bit extra stuff for the after show. I do have one more thing I need to state because legal counsel wants me to. But to the
Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, he's looking right at him.
not entirely, but one thing that I was kind of important to say is that. That some of us, myself and other sites out there, not myself and other sites do make some funding off of conventions. It is only in all cases that I am aware of, sans maybe one, that funding is then put directly back into the creation of content or the ability to do stuff for the show. So, or for the show or whatever they are producing. That is pretty much just what I wanted to say on that. I didn't want to make the statement out there that anyone is making bank or is making a
goodness,
killing on Brony, and I shudder at the idea. I've been in fandom for a while, and you have to have a really, really on it idea. You literally need to be like a props replicator company that goes to major conventions and stuff like that to actually live off of your stuff. I don't
count on
think.
Because I work
hand.
for one, and they don't make enough money to live just based on that either.
See, so it's
It's interesting you bring that up because at EQLA, there was a person, the person who shared their table next to me.
I
They
placed
actually-
those people next to you.
You did, I know.
Yes,
you did.
that's the people I work with.
Yes, and she and I, we caught a taxi back to LGB together, so we got to talk business, and it was very interesting. I mean, to me, the idea of, it's hard enough to go to as many as I've gone to this year already. If I didn't have, if I hadn't worked at my job for so long and banked up enough vacation, I couldn't do it. But certain people. It's not something everybody can do. And it's like, if you can do it, well, that's great, but you got to make sure you have a solid business plan and you know what you're doing, because if you don't, you're just going to spend money, it's going to go nowhere, and you're just going to wind up maybe even in trouble in the IRS if you don't know what to do with your taxes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
what's all this pony stuff?
Yeah. And I think that Dinkin makes a good probably closing point. The only person or the only group that has ever made bank off of the bronies is our sponsors, We Love Fine. You can get 10% off your purchase by using Bronyville 10.
And even another thing about Wheel of Fine, they took a huge bath on LPU. And because I've had stuff, and I know EQLA, because they're both in the same area with Wheel of Fine, use them to make their T-shirts. And I've had my stuff through Wheel of Fine as a Wheel of Fine artist. And, I know those people, and they almost swore off of the conventions because of LPU. But fortunately, at least some of the shows coming up since, like, they did great at Fiesta. Like, both of us, we said, we did better in Fiesta in the first day than we did through the entire weekend of LPU. And
That doesn't surprise
hopefully,
me.
as better events come along and the bigger events come along, some of that relationship can hopefully be restored again. Because if for Wheel of Fine, I mean, I carry my stuff on the airplane. They can't do that. They got to
Right.
ship boxes and boxes of stuff, and if they can't do that, then you're kind of screwed. You're not going to be able to get your Wheel of Fine stuff at cons anymore.
It's even more risky for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just as I can count on one hand the number of people actually making money off this fandom.
It's none of the non-corporate individuals.
Well, JJ, but
Well, that's because JJ's been a professional artist for at least a decade, and that's his livelihood.
Yeah,
I know he's still making bang. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that we've got
We
there's
have
plenty we
beaten
can
this to death.
we
The
can
point is
go
that
on
JJ
forever.
Needs to be on.
Okay, yes, son. All right, nothing against JJ. I'm just we have so much. I'm sure our post show is going to be continuations of all these, but we've already run 2 hours and haven't even gotten to emails. Are there any of these that we can't wait till next week, Sandy?
You know what? We can just hang on to all these emails till next week.
Okay, sorry
because holy crap, it's a long show.
Yes.
Already.
All right, so we'll hold on to these emails. We'll hit them up next week and do additional emails on the show. So let's go ahead and move this forward. We'll go past emails, and yes, we can't hold all of these emails.
I will just
copy them.
They don't exist.
We'll make sure you. We'll go
Oh.
go copy pasta into a new doc for next week, honey.
Don't lose that.
That'd be smart.
Well, I have all the emails still in our.
I know,
in our
but then,
inbox.
but if you put it
No,
in
be
there,
quiet, Sandy.
It's Sandy. We just had a conversation about doing planning, proper planning. Honey, listen to
the
me.
irony.
Fine, I'll make episode 115.
Thank you, honey bunches. By the way, next week you're doing the show on your own.
I am.
We're going to the beach. I forgot to tell you that.
Oh, okay.
Want to co-host?
I'll take a co-host.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. We're
It's
having
like
a beach
it's not
day.
like I don't have a dozen plus people that I can just call on at any given time. Hey, want to come on the show? Sure
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah. All right.
And if we're going to be talking to PonyCon AU next week, then having fellow conventioneer as my co-host would be
Oh,
wise.
I would like
Yeah,
to
we
do.
could do we should do it from the beach.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
beach show.
We're gonna- Is this going to be the random one where all the ponies are wearing bathing suits for some reason and Pinkie Pie is trying to split a watermelon in half?
Yeah,
Is it
make
going to
it.
be one of those type episodes?
It's going to be an
That's-
apple.
what-
Gonna take a watermelon, put some Applejack in it, and I mean like the actual drink, not Applejack.
Wait,
What?
am I missing a reference here?
You might be.
No, I
do
totally
love-
understand what they're talking about.
All right.
in like every anime ever, there's a beach episode.
I'm aware of that. What's the watermelon about?
That's part of the thing. Japanese are weird.
Okay, I don't watch anime. Okay, Sandy.
They're not weird.
You
That's
can
how
al-
they cool their treats.
You can always submit an email to us at bronyville@gmail.com. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about our 5-star iTunes bronies. We have 811 ratings, and thank you to 5 Iron and Desert Nocturne for leaving us a written review this week. Sandy, where are we on what's hot on iTunes?
When I looked earlier today, I took a screenshot. We were number 2.
Number 2 in
nice.
TV and movies on what hot is on iTunes US store. Yeah,
Will always be number 2, AC.
I know. We are the
Yeah.
we are the
Number
second
2, more like first loser.
we are the second tier of what's hot on the iTunes. Official second tier. Thank
The
you
iTunes.
all. Thank you all. Who was the one that was ahead of us, Sandy?
Some sports podcast.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we were ahead of everyone else, including the Adam Savage Project.
I tweeted it.
Yeah, it's tweeted.
You know,
It's out there.
I'm quite proud of it because we've been working hard on this to make the show we do.
Yep. We do. And thank you very much to H. Cedillo, J. CV. Oh man, why do I read these each week? I'm so bad at names. F. McCaller?
And E. Rasmussen.
Thank you. You're so much better at me not mangling names.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's do this. It's one cool thing time. We draw this particular episode to a close, so we need to go ahead and bring up awesome links here. By the way, I do not see a one cool thing link here for
I'll put it up. Give me a
glittering.
second.
Yeah,
I'll put it up.
just type it in.
I'll I'll get a cool thing. Just wait.
Okay, cool. Sure. Just go ahead and let's make
Yeah,
sure that
we're sorry we didn't give you much of an opportunity to talk this weekend, Tech. I'm sorry.
No. My internet kind of went out halfway through, so I wasn't even there for part of it.
Aw,
So
that's all right.
Yeah, we saw. I was like, oh, I feel bad.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and offer this week's one cool thing. As I've stated before, Starry Night really loves Markiplier, and she loves his What's Plays. So this week, Markiplier's SCP Containment Breach, My Little Pony series. If you like scary pony games, if you like watching a grown man scream at pony games, here you go. This is 6 20-minute episodes of someone yelling every single time he sees Pinkie Pie jump out at him.
I would watch that.
That's it.
And the thing is, that one is where that game itself is super creepy. I've seen people play. You have a blink meter, and you can hold your breath. You have to do all this stuff, and then when you blink, things can move towards you. Ugh.
What?
Yeah, it's
creepy.
SCP Containment Breach is a terrifying game.
I don't want to play this.
Blink meter.
So,
well,
More terrifying than Metro Last Light.
Oh man, that was awesome.
It was a pretty rad game.
It was better than Metro, just slightly.
Sandy, I think you and I have the same thing, so I gotta find
oh
a new one.
no.
I'm going to be related, and I'm going to link the SCP wiki for my cool thing.
Oh.
There's
Yep.
several, I guess, horse entries if you want to pretend there's pony. You want to pretend it's pony, but it's pretty great. So read it on a nice dark night, freak yourself out.
Yep.
Just keep clicking numbers, keep following links, see how far the rabbit hole goes.
Glittering, I've got bad news for you. Look at Sandy's link.
Yeah, that's what I was
did
just saying.
think It's scpcbgame.com.
You could pretend it says super cool pony.
And then you
Sure.
click on it and you go, this is creepy.
Yep. So my
Super
cool
creepy
thing
pony.
this week is Dumb Ways to Die, the ponified version,
So good.
which is really funny. Dumb Ways to Die is public service announcement by Metro Trains in Melbourne, Australia, to promote
Yes.
train safety. It's a little 3-minute video where our dear favorite ponies off themselves in humorous ways, and they're okay because they're dancing and singing afterwards.
Well,
You know-
you could have said the same thing about that cupcakes video from a while ago, but that was still weird as hell. I'm
But yeah,
just saying.
It involves Best Pony catching herself on fire, unfortunately.
Why would Rarity catch herself on fire?
She
It's
did her own
hilarious.
electrical work. You don't do your own electrical work. It's really funny because at the end, all the ponies are dancing and Derpy's there. It's all very, very special. It's morbid, but funny. Money.
You know what's also funny? Two Best Sisters play Ain't That Right, Cereal? Yeah!
Yeah.
Uh,
Best.
You've been left alone with Nanako.
Mysterious man asked for your attention.
I love that video.
They are the best things ever.
Yes.
They
I don't
are
even watch
really
Two
good.
Best Friends play. I just watch these.
Yeah,
And-
I only watched the Two Best Sisters.
I love the...
The production value is through the roof. It is just amazing.
yeah, and the fact that they did some custom vectors for the display.
It's
Sponsors are Purple Smart and
Pat's mom.
It's really high quality stuff. I like it a lot.
Quick, eat the drugs.
gas station attendant is always creepy.
I just like that they're shooting at crows or whatever for no dumb reason.
How did Crow have a grenade? What? You shot your only friend.
Don't shoot him. He was going to sell you something or whatever that whole bit was.
It was an accident. Oh.
And then he shows up later. They're like, oh my God, where did he come from?
That's so good. Kefka, what do you got there, sir?
I've linked Granite State Comic Con, which is a good con in New Hampshire. The reason why it's relevant to your listeners is because there's going to be many pony-related guests there. Although, to be fair, they are all pony comics-related guests. Andy
Nothing
Price,
wrong with that.
Still good.
absolutely nothing wrong with it. Andy Price, Katie Cook, Amy Meberson, Sarah Richard, who's been doing all these extremely cool watercolor and pastel covers. She also did all the artwork for the Blue Label IDW limited editions that should be coming out. I think they're going to announce the release date at Comic-Con, so we're probably going to hear about that in.
And they look like they have some good guests too. Gray DeLise, Robert Paulson.
Rob Paulson. They just announced Jim Cummings. So Darkwing Duck is going to be there.
Oh man!
And of course, the most important guest of all is none other than yours truly.
Oh, that's true. Dan, you are such a Jim. You're a Jim.
I know. But I mean, I'll be there with my table with my stuff, and if you want to talk about lettering comics or coloring comics, or I'll have my photography there too. So if you want to see some beautiful pictures of the city of Boston, taken the day before the marathon bombing, there's airplanes and other stuff. So you can always, if you live in the Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine area, please come, because Granite State is run by Double Midnight. They have exclusive covers on the Pony Comics. So we want to make sure that your local comic shops and your local comic cons all succeed.
Double Midnight. Woo.
What town is this in?
It is in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Oh, where in Manchester?
It's I forget exactly what venue it's in, but the great thing is I can drive up. I can sleep in my own bed at night. It doesn't sound like a bed to me.
20 minutes away from me, and I would go.
So you should go.
I don't have any money. I have like $13 in my bank account.
Alas.
Oh,
they'll sell tickets at the door.
Or Tech, why don't you go help Dan work at the table? Maybe.
Unfortunately, she can't do that because a good friend of mine who has never experienced a con like this before, and who I've only recently introduced to ponies, and hopefully someday he will actually watch the show. We'll see if that can happen, but he's going to come and observe and become part of the con culture for a weekend and see what he thinks of it.
No, I would almost, just depending on how it is, Tech, if you were like remote reviewer on the scene, I almost would be half willing to help you out. We'll talk. We'll see about it after the episode. That'd be fun to have someone on the scene.
If you want to go, we can make it happen.
Sweet.
Yeah, you could help on behalf of the round stable. Just all depends. We could figure that out.
You just change the hat you're wearing.
Yeah.
Just like I had.
Derpy Hooves stable rounds.
Daily.
We all get along here.
Daily.
Yeah, I'm sure DS wouldn't mind if you borrowed me.
He just growl a little bit and then go back to what he was doing.
Derpy Stables Daily.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
There we go.
All right. Well, I think that takes care of. Oh wait, no. Karen added a different one.
I did. I added a different one because I am. Oh, for the record, Gray's last name is Delisle, but whatever.
Delisle.
Yeah,
I'm not good at English. I'm sorry.
It's not an English name, so you're excused.
It rhymes with my last name, so if that helps.
Starry Night. No, it doesn't.
But because everyone knows that I dislike Trixie so much, I found a pretty fun little Tumblr called Inconvenient Trixie. And
That's funny because... no, never mind.
I've seen
why is
the
it
art
funny?
around the internet, and it's just hilarious because the looks on Twilight Sparkle's face is basically how I appear when someone is bothering me.
Serial,
So it's
why is Trixie so inconvenient to you?
Yeah.
No,
this
I
is
was
Karen,
gonna.
the
I was
strip.
going to say the artist whom I've forgotten momentarily.
It's Egophiliac.
It's Ego. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say
Yeah,
it was
she
Pixel. I was like, wait a minute.
does,
That's
yeah.
not right.
No, it's another egophiliac one.
Okay. I was
But
gonna
it's
say, well,
just so
Pixel draws
funny.
it. So if you say that around her, she'll kill you. But
No, this is Ego, and they
I don't
also
know why I
do
mixed
Slice
them.
of Life, which is really cute, and other stuff too. Did Moonstuck, which is over.
yeah, Inconvenient Pixie
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
There's the
frog-faced
refrigerator.
Trixie inconveniencing Twilight at every corner.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this blue unicorn mare
Now-
is the 11th item. You
okay.
can't have it.
I'm looking at this latest comic, the one where it's Twilight and Bon Bon there at the grocery store. It says 10 items or less, but I'm counting the number of items in this grocery cart, and I think I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, wait.
Plus Trixie.
I thought originally
Well,
counted,
Trixie's 11. That's the.
I thought she was the 10th. I'm like, what am I missing
No,
here?
Yeah.
Then I went and recounted. I was like, oh, there's one that's occluded. There's a tangent there. It's screwing me up.
Yeah, there's 10 items and Trixie.
Yes. That's the.
I just
Well,
love
yeah,
her
I
face.
know. It's like counting it. There's like, oh, it's because something is occluded.
Do I have to
Tangents
do
are
slow
bad,
clap?
kids. Don't include tangents
Yes.
in your.
So inconvenient, Trixie. So inconvenient. I love that's really funny. I like that.
Yep.
Right.
Ask Flufflepuff is very good, but we've talked about that before too.
The box with Derpy. Just
I don't
Yes.
understand Flufflepuff. I saw it
It's-
last
Sony.
night.
How do you not
I like
understand
Dan.
it?
I don't know. There's
It
a lot
doesn't-
of things
it
in
does
the
not
fandom
appeal
I
to
don't
me.
understand.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it is its own little thing.
It reminds me too much of the fluffy ponies from like the Co days where they would.
That's the
disembowel.
thing.
That's
So it's a
dope.
little weird. I keep
It-
expecting her to get killed horribly.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a co-offshoot of the Fluffy Ponies, except she doesn't
Well,
die every episode.
But isn't it also part of like Dan versus Fim?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like Chrysalis is in there too, because why not?
Who doesn't like
Right.
Chrysalis?
Well, I think it's.
I would guess maybe Cadence and Shining Armor.
Well, maybe no. That's too
No,
far
they
from the
love
show.
everyone, right?
I'm not going to say the Jogo's going.
Heart butt. All right, well, we need to go ahead and roll this to a close so that we don't have M editing a 6-hour episode.
Yeah,
all
6
right.
hours. Whew.
Yeah, I know. Who would record something like that? By the way, yeah, we'll talk about where you can watch a 6-hour episode in the post show. Sorry, people listening on the podcast. All right, well, let's see. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. First off, I want to go ahead and thank all of the guests that rolled in today and contributed. Thank you, Serial, for dropping in.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Kefka Floyd.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to have you, Glittering. Thank you very, very much for coming on.
Anytime.
And Tech, always a pleasure.
No problem.
Excellent to have you. Sandy, you are a Thunderbringer. Even with less of a stomach, you made it through.
You can count on me.
I sure can. And I can count on all of our awesome fans, be it if they're in the Justin.tv Bronyville podcast chat room, or if you're the type that's listening to this on iTunes, or, however you decide to pull it, if you're getting it over at our website. We love every single one of you. We love producing this show every single week, and just the praise and the fact that you love us, and, give and just listen puts a smile on our face. So thank you.
Yeah, we had the real Abba says, "I'm surprised Sandy could stomach us the whole time."
Oh, nice.
Is this like the show of bad puns or something? Usually you guys are pretty good about the pun thing, but today, it's been an assault.
I can't. You know what? I could try and figure out a way around that, but I think it's probably best to just go ahead and.
Dan, they had to pepper them in.
Karen, Karen. Actually, no. I just love puns. I thought I'm not making any puns because I thought we weren't doing puns. Now everybody's doing puns.
We could have done awful puns. It
We
would
could have
great.
done a lot of bad ones.
Well, not like on a podcast. That's been done before. That was a really bad one. There, I killed it with a bad one. How you like that? All right, let's go ahead and do this. Let's close this episode up. That has been Bronyville Podcast, episode number 114. Thank you all for listening, and we will be on next week. Sandy will. I will be at the beach. I may even call from the beach if I guess things are on fire. We'll see. We don't know. All right, We'll catch you next week. Same time, same pony place, all that kind of thing. Sleep well, every
Yep.
pony.
Adios.
Yeah.
Hit the button.
I guess
Bye-bye.
so. Did I not do the whole thing? BronyShow.com, BronyvillePodcast.com, Bronyville@gmail.com. Join us roughly every Saturday, noon Pacific time at Justin.tv, the Bronyville Podcast. iTunes reviews, please leave us those. The show is on Celestial Radio every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UTC. You can follow me on Bronyville.
And me on Chef Sandy.
And meetup groups at Bronyville, Northern California.
North Texas
Like,
Bronies.
comment, subscribe.
And conventions, yeah, I'm going to be at the Sacramento one and Nightmare Nights Dallas and BronyCan.
Gonna be at Brony Fanfare, possibly DerbyCon South, and Nightmare Nights Dallas because I'm working it.
All right, then I think now officially sleep well, every pony.
Okay, there we go.
Cereal.
Wow, that was so fast. I was like, what? Is
Like,
he
comment,
saying?
subscribe.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I have to hit the button. No, sorry.
We have to hit the button before we can continue to be loose cannons.
Can she resist the shiny, jolly, candy-like button?
Sorry, I'll be right back.
she's like a cat, you know. She doesn't.
Kind of is.
Like a 2-year-old toddler that's just made their body as heavy as can be.
Like, I've turned up the local gravity. You're not moving.
Okay.
Inconvenient story, yes.